To you from Camelback Ranch in Glendale, Arizona. Cactus League action continues today. The Chicago White Sox playing host today to the Texas Rangers. I'm Russ Langer along with Rich King, and we're thrilled to be giving you the descriptions on these webcast games and filling in all the gaps and the blanks as best we can. And Rich, the Sox hope to be able to fill in a major gap today with the return of Michael Kopech, and that's certainly the big headline today.
It's a big story, no question about it, Russ Langer, as Kopech takes the hill for the very first time here in the Cactus League. Of course, we all know the story, Tommy John surgery, and coming back here. He's been very careful with him, obviously, don't want to rush him along. With that in mind, we talked to Michael a couple of times here in camp about what he expects, and one thing that Tommy John surgery did give him was a time to think about his approach to the game, not rushing things. So let's hear from Michael Kopech about post-Tommy John action.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's made me, like I said, more patient overall. It's made me really focus on the things that I didn't focus on before. So it's kind of filled those holes in my pitching repertoire, or whatever you want to call it. I've really just focused on defining the things that I didn't really work on before. So I've fine-tuned other little things.
Okay, Michael Kopech, I guess the message there is you can't blow everybody out with a fastball, so he's going to be more selective, more like a Dylan Cease kind of approach, as we saw him in the camp. All in all, though, he's healthy, he's ready to go, the velocity's there, the pitchers are there. It's a matter of getting on the mound for one inning today. That'll be his limit. Later on, we'll hear from Ricky Renteria about what they expect to do with him today. A one-inning pitch for Michael Kopech. And you know something, Russ? I had the honor of covering his first appearance in the majors. Rained out. I think two of his first three were rained out. And when we got this morning, it was raining. I looked at my window. Fortunately, it had stopped raining, and now we got about a 3-hour window here. They said he gets this game in, so that's good news. But we'll keep an eye on Michael Kopech. I don't expect, nobody's expecting great stats or anything. Just go out there, do your pitches, and show what you got, and pitch the one inning and on your way.
Well, certainly when you've had Tommy John or anything like it that of that type of nature, we're going to miss better than a year. In this case, close to 2 years for Michael Kopech. He hasn't faced live hitters since 2018. You want to take it easy. It all begins with the first step for Michael. That first step is today. And as you said, the idea is to get out there, just go get through your motion, go through your repertoire, go free and easy. Don't try to do too much, just the one inning, and try to get reacclimated to the competitive scene.
Yeah, that's right. A couple of hits won't hurt. I mean, let's face it, the spring training. But we'll talk about some other events here in camp. One of the big events, the coronavirus finally affecting Major League Baseball. In fact, all sports. We'll talk about that in terms of locker room access for the media coming up a bit later on. But all in all, Russ, grateful to have this weather have a break for us. And boy, when I got up, it was pouring. And they say about 4 o'clock or so it may come in again. But that gives us a full 3 hours to get this baby in and go on from there.
Hopefully it will stay away for at least that long. And Michael Kopech is hoping it'll stay away for a while.
He was anxious to get going.
No question. Texas Rangers are 11-7, and the Sox, after forging a tie yesterday, and if you weren't with us, one thing, the common denominator with every webcast we've had, the games have been interesting, they've been exciting. The Sox have won most of them. They were a strike away from losing yesterday, and Yermin Mercedes solved that on a 1-2 count with 2 outs in the bottom of the ninth with the bases clear. Sox down 3-2. He took Cody Reed deep to left, much to the delight of the crowd that stayed of over 4,000, and the Sox forged a 3-3 tie.
Yeah, it came up in the pregame news conference for Ricky, and Ricky's saying he has a real talent for the big moments. Mercedes has some big homers in camp, and of course he's been around for a while, 27 years old. I don't know if he's got a chance to make this roster, but still in all, very impressive spring camp for the stocky, powerful built Yermin Mercedes.
All right, the Sox and the Texas Rangers. Sox now 10-6-2 after yesterday's tie. And the starting lineup for the Texas Rangers, as we see the Sox milling about, getting set to take the field, and there they go right now, taking the field. Texas leads off in center field, but Eli White, there he is. Hitting second is the shortstop, Isaiah Connor Falefa. Hitting third, the former Yankee first baseman, Greg Bird. The cleanup man, the designated hitter, Rob Refsnyder, in the fifth slot. Third baseman, Matt Duffy. Batting sixth in right field for Texas today, Scott Heineman. In the seventh position, the left fielder, Adolis Garcia. Hitting eighth at second base, the Rangers' Yadiel Rivera, and batting ninth and catching, the veteran Jeff Mathis. Lefty Mike Minor, who was an all-star last year, will pitch today for Texas. Kopech loosening up the Sox lineup. Tim Anderson leads off at short. Batting second is the third baseman, Yoan Moncada. Hitting third, first baseman Jose Abreu. The cleanup man, the catcher Yasmani Grandal. Hitting fifth and left, Eloy Jimenez. Batting sixth, the DH, having a great spring, the youngster Andrew Vaughn. Hitting seventh in center field, another excellent spring, Luis Robert, hitting .370. Hitting eighth at second base, Leury Garcia. Batting ninth and right, Adam Engel. And Michael Kopech on the mound today for one inning for the Sox. Big return today. There he is.
There he is, Michael Kopech. Let's hear what Ricky Renteria had to say. We talked to Ricky before the game, what he expects today from one Michael Kopech.
Just the one inning. I mean, he's been throwing the ball very, very well, and he's worked all inside, and the pitcher's BP. Just to get through the inning. You know, we're going to monitor his pitch count. We want him to go. We don't want him to go beyond a certain number of pitches, but I'm sure he'll do fine. I'm sure he'll be a little excited for the first time in a while, which is natural.
You talked about after the TJ surgery being more patient when he comes back. Yeah. You expect a different kind of approach from him?
Well, I think his competitiveness is still there, and his desire to, I'm sure, want to be here as quickly as possible is there. I think that the biggest thing for him is he understands that there is a process, and I think he's understood now, you know, that there are certain steps he's going to take to put himself in as good a position as possible. He's, again, the anxiousness of wanting to rush it all, you got to be able to control it, and I think he's managing it very well.
Okay, Ricky Renteria, we heard from Kopech earlier, so the stage is all set for a good game before a nice crowd and cloudy skies here, but again, the rain will hold off, and Russ, I'm excited about this first inning here.
Yeah, here we go. It's going to start in a moment as Eli White walks up to the plate. Temperatures hovering around 70, mostly cloudy skies. The lights are on, not taking a whole lot of effect now, but they said the weatherman is telling us that the rain, which was here overnight, moistening things a little bit, then went away, should return around 4 o'clock, and that's about 3 hours from now. So we'll see. We'll see about that. Right now, Eli White settling in. Michael Kopech, first pitch since 2018. Fastball, a little high. Ball 1-0. That pitch was 100 miles an hour. Hello, welcome back.
The velocity's still there, right?
Yeah. And the pitch apparently missed just a little bit high. It was close. 1-0. Eli White waiting the pitch, and that fastball too low apparently. 101 says the gun. 2-0. Boy, if you're Eli White, you're going, gee, couldn't the rain have gotten here a little sooner?
Oh, that's encouraging.
101.
Yeah, it's great.
2-0. And Kopech back again. Strike. That strike was 100 miles an hour.
So, Russ, the first three pitches, 100, 101, 100. Wow.
He's steaming it right in there. So now a 2-1 count on White, who went to Clemson, playing center field today from Piedmont, South Carolina, his hometown. Up the middle, right there to grab it is Garcia with those soft hands. He fires over to Abreu, a 4-3 put out. That was a 101 mile an hour fastball. And White grounds out 4-3. One out for Isaiah. That's Kiner Falefa, the last name. Kiner-Falefa. There it is again.
Shot up the middle, well hit, but nice play by Garcia, and Kopech gets the first man. 4 pitches.
This man Falefa, as we see Garcia right there, and Kopech, going to be 25 on the 23rd. He's from Honolulu. There's a strike to him. 0-1. Right-handed hitting shortstop. 5'11", 190. There he is. Got a little bit of time. 45 games with the Rangers last year, hitting .238 with a home run, 21 batted in. It took .261 for them the year before. Back up the middle, another chance for Garcia. Off balance throw, and it's dug out nicely at the other end by Jose Abreu. 2 down.
Great play all the way around. Nice movement by Garcia, second base, and a great pickup by Abreu at first. There it is again in the replay. That ball not hit well, but in the right hole. And Larry got over there, and you know, Abreu had a great year defensively last year. He's off to a great start here in camp too.
2 down. Play at both ends. Greg Bird, former Yankee, coming up now. Bird was with the Yankees starting in 2015. Through last year, he only played a handful of games last year. He was hurt and missed most of the year. Pitch up and away, ball one. And Greg, there he is. Greg's from Memphis. Well, he lives in Tampa now. 6'4", 220. And that one spins in there for a strike. So an off-speed pitch gets in there. 1-1, good pitch.
Breaking pitch, nice effort by Michael. 8 pitches so far. He's breezing through.
Breaking ball missed that time. Good looking pitch. That had some cut on it at 90 miles an hour. Came in a little low apparently. 2 balls and 1 strike on Greg Bird. So Kopech's got 2 ground balls and a 2-1 count on Greg Bird. And here comes Michael again. Same pitch, foul back this time. 2-2. Kopech, as you recall, came over to the White Sox from Boston, the Chris Sale trade. And they expect good things from this young man. No question about it. 2-2. The shift is on for Bird around to the right in the infield. Strike 3 called at 101 miles an hour on the outside corner. That's the way you finish off your first inning after 2 years.
Piece of cake for Michael. There's the replay. 11 pitches, that's all. Beautiful pitch on the outside part. Mostly fastballs for Kopech, and the White Sox gets a big ovation as he gets off here after 1 inning.
Beautifully done. 2 ground balls. Nice play by Garcia. Nice play by Abreu, and a nasty fastball to finish him off. After half an inning, Texas nothing, and the Sox against Mike.
Can't ask for better. Michael has done for today.
Precisely. Could not ask for a better showing that first inning back, and he's got to feel really good. The Sox have to feel great about that inning. So that's the first step. And I'm sure the next time out, he'll be stretched out slightly more, and they'll want to be careful with him for all the right reasons. Bottom of the first, Tim Anderson, Yoan Moncada, and Jose Abreu against lefty Mike Minor. There's Mike, who was born in Chapel Hill, Tennessee, but lives in Knoxville. He was born the day after Christmas in 1987. 32 years old. Tim Anderson checking in. Timmy swings and fouls that pitch off to the right. Strike 1, 0-1. Minor 6'4", 220. He pitched for Atlanta and Kansas City before joining Texas. And in college, he stayed right in his home state of Tennessee, played at Vanderbilt. He was a teammate of David Price while he was at Vandy. Here's the 0-1. Anderson rolls it foul to the third base dugout. 0-2. And last year, Minor was an all-star for the first time. He was 14-10 for the year, a 3.59 ERA, 200 strikeouts, and just under 209 innings, and finished 8th in the Cy Young voting last year. Here's the 0-2. Timmy hitting 208 this spring, takes inside. 1-2. Minor fastball, slider, circle change, and a knuckle curve. Fastball generally is the straighter four-seamer. He generally will induce a lot of fly balls when he's out there. Here's the 1-2. That's inside. 2-2. 94 miles an hour. So last year, Minor's really the best year of his career. He had an 11 victory season with Atlanta back in 2012. 2-2. Just the start of things at Camelback Ranch. Tim Anderson.
And Russ, he was a workhorse last year. 208 innings pitched for Minor. Mentioned his best year. Off to a 2-2 count here on Tim Anderson. Sox leading it off.
And the 2-2. To short. Connor Falefa has it, fires to first, and he took an extra step, and that extra step very nearly cost him. I mean, Anderson's out by a whisker at first, and there's 1 out.
Good hustle by Tim. Never gave up on it and almost beat it out. That was really close. Here's the replay. He about a half a step there, as again a little delay there, a little clutch, and boom. Boy, that was close.
Very close. Yoan Moncada comes up now. That's how you hit 340. You run everything out.
He does. He's a hustler.
And the switch hitting Moncada. 208 average, looking for his first homer of the spring. He's got 2 runs batted in. Switch hitter batting right-handed. Up and away, ball 1. Defensively, Texas. We get a look at Yoan right there. Greg Bird at first. Yadiel Rivera at second. Isaiah Kiner Falefa at short. Matt Duffy at third. Adolis Garcia in left. Eli White in center. Scott Heineman in right. Jeff Mathis catching. And the pitch spins in there for a strike. 1-1 on Yoan Moncada.
And for the first time this year, we've seen the lights turned on under cloudy skies here in Glendale.
The 1-1. Had a jackknife to avoid getting hit. 2-0. And I mentioned that Minor is a kind of a fly ball guy. Last year he allowed 30 home runs, and the year before he allowed 25 in only 157 innings. So he'll give up his share, but last year the thing that helped him was many of the home runs were solo jobs, and he did have his best year. The 2-1, that's driven in the air to center. It's shallow. On the move is Eli White to pick it off. 2 down.
You know, getting back to Kopech, Russ, you've been around this game a long time. You see pitchers like him, and you see top of the rotation guys. Cease and Kopech, the kind of guys that figure at the top of the rotation with the stuff they got. That first inning, a great example. He was in command so much. Pitchers baffled. One well-hit ball. The first one was a hard ground ball. That was it. But guys like that, the stuff they have, 101 miles an hour, you can't beat that kind of stuff.
Oh, my. Jose Abreu. There's that knuckle curve, and he spun it in there for a strike at 79 miles an hour. 0-1.
We talked about Jake Arrieta yesterday when he was in 16 with the Cubs, having top of the line stuff, and Kopech certainly has that kind of flavor.
Strike 2. Yasmani Grandal waits on deck. 0-2 on Jose Abreu. They play him around to the right in the outfield. Center fielder White shifted decidedly toward right center. Down low. 1-2. There's that configuration right there. And Garcia, the left fielder, pretty far off the line. 1-2 on Jose Abreu. Once again, figuring to be right in the middle of what looks to be a very potent Sox lineup in 2020. Under the elbows with that fastball. 2-2.
He will be, Russ, and they can hit later on in the broadcast. Come 7th or 8th inning, we'll have our feature, in which today will be the beat writers of the Chicago White Sox, the writers who cover this team every day, their predictions for where the Sox will fit in. Should be entertaining.
3-2.
Of course, we project the White Sox, and I do, in the playoffs. And we'll get what they have to say about it. Should be a good year.
How many writers are involved in this?
Three. The 3 guys I hang around with.
All right.
Yeah.
Oh, I think I know who they are. Win, place, and show. On the ground to short. Full off. Got this one. Connor Falafa throws to first base to get him. 6-3 ground ball. That's it. So the Sox are out in order. 2 ground balls to short and a fly ball to center. Minor hangs a 0 in the bottom of the first. At the end of 1 at Camelback Ranch, Texas, and the Sox no score.
Battling out, great first inning by Michael Kopech, and now a young man from Reno, Nevada. 22-year-old right-hander Drew Anderson takes the hill, and here again to call the action for you is Russ Lang.
Thank you, Rich King. So there's a look at the diamond from here. No score through 1, and already, regardless of what happens from innings 2 through 9, the Sox can feel good about what Michael Kopech did out there in the first inning with 11 quality pitches. There's Drew Anderson, limbering up, and he was drafted by the Phillies in the 21st round back in 2012. Made his big league debut for the Phillies in 2017. On the 22nd of this month, he will turn 26. He is 6'3", 185. And for Anderson, it's his 4th appearance. No record of 5.14 ERA over 7 innings. As he piggybacks Kopech. Pitch outside, ball 1 to Rob Refsnyder, the right-handed hitting Texas DH. The last time Anderson pitched was 5 days ago. He went 3 innings against Colorado in a game that we did here on the web, giving up a couple of solo home runs as part of the 3 hits he allowed. No walks, 2 strikeouts. So the thing about Anderson taking over for Kopech, pitch outside 2-0, he stretched out. He could go maybe 3 innings, maybe more, depending on how it goes.
Yep, they'll give him some time in there. And of course, after that, we'll see Cody Heyer, among others, on the hill for the White Sox.
Refsnyder hits it off the glove of Anderson, and he's safe at first. We'll wait for a ruling on that as Matt Duffy gets set to come up to the plate now.
Well, Tim couldn't get the glove on that one to his left, and up on the hole. I imagine they'll give him a hit. Let's see what they they give him an error.
Error. Another look.
Yep. Good call. He makes the catch. He's got him out at first base.
Now Matt Duffy, right-handed hitting third baseman, climbing in. No score, top of the second. Refsnyder's at first, not too big of a lead. Jose Abreu straddles the bag there. That's low, ball one. 1-0. The umpires, Chris Guccione on the plate. If Corey Blazer at first, Nick Lentz at second, Nick Marley at third, and they rotate frequently throughout the games during the spring. 1-0 on Duffy now. Check swing foul. 1-1.
The other big news today, besides the Kopech story, of course, is the coronavirus affecting all major sports. And White Sox sent out a memo last night to all of us in the media saying that we would no longer be allowed in the locker room. All the interviews be conducted outside here. They'll bring the players out. Ricky Renteria had to come out today, so precaution not to spread that awful virus that's been causing all this trouble all over the world, really.
This is a 1-1 to Matt Duffy now. Nice breaking ball. 1-2.
So it really doesn't affect us all that much. As long as the player, you have access to the players, but they come
Right.
out. They come out instead of going in. That's all.
Yeah, that's the main thing. So it's a ball and 2 strikes on Matt Duffy. Anderson trying to get the ground ball at somebody here, and Duffy waiting with that open stance. Breyer's a breaking ball. It's too low. Big curveball. 2 balls and 2 strikes the count.
And the other bit of news about that, which is a terrible story, is that Gary Sanchez of the Yankees has a fever now, and they're concerned about his whether he's got the coronavirus. So it's a nasty situation. They're trying to head that thing off and keep it contained, and it's very difficult. But let's hope they can, and things will get back to normal here sooner than later.
Grandal catching for first time. He's been DHing, coming back from that injury we've been talking about all spring. Throw to first, and Refsnyder back there. So it's just important for Grandal to get some reps back there, getting to know the pitchers and the pitchers getting to know him.
Yeah, he's looked good. I mean, obviously with the bat, but his catching, there's no question about it. He can handle pitchers, and everybody respects him on that staff.
Duffy's jammed, and he fought that one back. 2-2.
Duffy 9 for 31 in camp. No homers, no RBIs. 29 years old from Long Beach, California.
Been around a while, bounced around with a few different organizations. In addition to Anderson, who's in now, you mentioned Cody Heyer, Brian Mitchell is one of the other pitchers scheduled to go for the Sox. That one's way down there. 3-2 now with Refsnyder at first and nobody out. And the on-deck hitter is the right-handed hitting Texas right fielder Scott Heineman.
Well, Drew Anderson told me his best pitch is a rising fastball, so we'll see what he does here on 3-2 against Duffy.
They're really giving him the gap in left center. Anderson giving Grandal a good long look. And now the 3-2 coming. The runner goes. The pitch is ball 4. That's Grandal is questioning the call. It was a very good looking pitch. And Grandal made a good throw down to Garcia to try to get Refsnyder to complete a double play. But to Grandal's surprise, it was called a ball.
A bit low apparently, but that was right down the middle and could have been called either way. Tough break for the White Sox. 2 on, nobody out now. Error and a walk.
Sometimes a situation like that, the umpire's view is a little obscured as the catcher's coming out of his crouch to make that throw.
Could be,
so
yeah.
2 on, nobody out. Now Heineman climbing in now for Texas. Again, Anderson will try to get the ground ball. That curve is in the dirt, and Grandal smothers that one. Ball 1.
Heineman, 27 years old, from Pacific Palisades, California. Hit 25 games at Texas last year. Hit 213. Scott Heineman.
Had some good numbers in the minors and trying to break in here. Refsnyder at second, Duffy at first, nobody out. Anderson's next one, and that one is a called strike. Breaking ball got in there at 86. 1-1 the count to Scott Heineman.
Pretty much straight away they play him. Just a shade, Robert, just shade toward right field and center field.
Rangers got off to a sluggish start this spring, but they've won 8 of the last 11 games. They all started off having dropped 3 of 5. And of course, the Sox have looked pretty solid from wire to wire to this point. 1-1. Anderson taking his time. Fastball swung on and missed. 1-2.
And the Rangers camp kind of shook up with the injury to Willie Calhoun a couple of days ago. Hit right in the face with a pitch. I talked to some Rangers people this morning. He's okay. They're going to put a plate in there. He's going to be fine. They don't know when he'll come back. But Willie Calhoun had a pretty good year last year. Tough break for him a couple of days ago.
Plate was inserted to stabilize his fractured jaw. Scary stuff, and hopefully he'll be all right. Here's the 1-2. Again, tried that breaking ball, which he's not had command of yet. 2 balls and 2 strikes on Scott Heineman.
So lots of news here in camp with all the activity. Michael Kopech's the big story, though. We'll repeat that throughout the day. 1 inning pitched, a great inning by Michael. As Drew Anderson now in trouble, though, with 2 on, nobody out.
Refsnyder aboard in the error by Anderson, then the Duffy walk. And here's the 2-2 to Heineman. 3-2. He went 3-2 on Duffy and walked him. Now he's 3-2 on Heineman. Adolis Garcia is on deck.
That was that high fastball at 95 we told you about earlier. Just missed the zone.
Second time that Anderson has faced Texas this spring. He faced them 10 days ago. And another very close pitch. The ball 4 to Duffy was razor close, and that one equally close. Refsnyder to third, Duffy to second, Heineman to first, and the batter is Adolis Garcia, the right-handed hitting Texas left fielder.
Well, they kind of break. There's 2 outs, but unfortunately, there's two tough calls go against him. The bases are juiced.
Garcia is 27. He was with the Cardinals and also played in Japan for the Yomiuri Giants. He takes a called strike, and it's 0-1.
It's out of Cuba.
6'1", 180. So Anderson in a mess now. They're in at the corners. He missed ball 1, 1-1. Abreu at first, Moncada third and tight. Anything hit to either one of them, they'll come home. Ball and a strike on Garcia. Big rip there. 1 ball and 2 strikes the count.
Another heating fastball, 94 miles an hour. Nice to get a double play here, or at least maybe a strikeout. Either one is most welcome.
Garcia, who defected in 2016 to come stateside and join the Cardinals, into Japan, and now back in the States. The 1-2, bases filled, nobody out. The 1-2 pitch, and it's a called third strike over the inside corner. 96 miles an hour on the black, as they say. And Anderson gets a strikeout he badly needed. Bases remain loaded with 1 out for Yadiel Rivera.
Got the call that time. Garcia, by the way, had 2 home runs coming in, so he strikes out. There's a replay. A lot of fastballs here from Drew Anderson. Now one double play and we're out of the jam.
All righties in the lineup today, except for Greg Bird for Texas. And he tried to jump on that first pitch and fouled it back. Strike 1 on Yadiel Rivera, who's from Puerto Rico. There's Yadiel. He'll be 28 in early May. 6'3", 190.
34 games at Miami last year.
He's also been in the Brewers camp, too.
183.
Didn't mean to swing, and it'll cost him a strike. 0-2.
He's off to a good start, too. 8 for 19 in camp is Rivera. 1 home run, 2 RBIs. Yadiel Rivera.
Got into the big leagues in 2015 with Milwaukee. Signed a minor league deal with the Marlins going into 2018. The 0-2. Breaking ball, check swing, the appeal, no swing. 1 ball and 2 strikes. So in the inning, Refsnyder aboard on the Anderson error. Back-to-back walks on close pitches to Duffy on a 3-2, to Heineman on a 3-2. Garcia caught window shopping, and here's the 1-2 to Yadiel Rivera. Just missed inside. Very close again. 2-2.
Home plate umpires today is Chris Guccione.
So now he went 3-2 on Duffy and walked him. 3-2 on Heineman and walked him. Got Garcia. And now he got 0-2 on Rivera, and nibbling, he's 3-2. We'll see what he does here. Line to center, base hit. One run scores, that's Refsnyder, and it's 1-0 Texas.
Well, had to be a fastball. You knew that was coming, and he just was on that pitch, line shot. The good news is it was hung up there for a while and only 1 run scored. But still the base is loaded now and 1 out.
Duffy held at third. Heineman to second. It's an unearned run if you're keeping a track along with us because of the error. But the bases remain loaded with 1 out. Rivera's good spring continues. And here's the veteran catcher Jeff Mathis now. One nothing Texas, top of the second inning. Anderson has not commanded that curveball yet. He's making a coal miner out of Yasmani Grandal early in this game. Ball 1.
Mathis out of Florida, 36 years old now. 2 for 9 here in the early going in camp. 1 home run, 3 RBIs for the veteran Jeff Mathis.
End of this month, Mathis will be 37. Well traveled. Angels, Toronto, Marlins, and the Arizona Diamondbacks, and now Texas. 1-0. That fastball's right in there for a strike. Good pitch in the mid-90s. 1-1.
Good double play candidate right here is Jeff Mathis.
One and one. Mathis knows about competition. When he was with the Angels, he competed with Jose Molina, Mike Napoli for playing time. One on to Toronto. Here now is the 1-1 pitch. Drew Anderson delivers. Another breaking ball. It's too low. 2-1.
You're right. He's struggling with the breaking pitches, and fastball's command is pretty good. Now a big confab on the hill as Grandal is going out to try to settle him down. We saw Dylan Cease yesterday have trouble with his fastball. Today it's Drew Anderson having trouble with the breaking pitch. Cloudy day here in Glendale. Kind of a rainy feel to the day. And they predict rain a bit later on, but hopefully we'll get this baby in today.
2 balls and 1 strike. Grandal trudging behind the plate. Boy, Mathis and Grandal, 2 catchers have been around, and you know, there's simpatico on a lot of things. Grandal coming back, he's been hurt before, was hurt early this spring. Mathis has had all kinds of things in his career. 1 point, 2013, he took a foul tip from Matt Holliday and broke his collarbone on that. There's a base hit to left center. Duffy and Heineman will score on this. And stopping at second is Yadiel Rivera. And now the Rangers open up a 3-0 lead.
That ball was drilled, a line shot, no chance at all for anybody. Anderson, that ball's in there. 2 run score this time, and those close pitches coming back to burn Drew Anderson. Now here comes Don Cooper out to have a chat with him. So yeah, Duffy looked like he struck him out. Got a walk instead. Had Heineman, same thing. Got it, called third strike on Garcia, but then 2 straight hits here, and now there's a confab on the hill as the Rangers take a 3-0 lead here. Tomorrow, by the way, Russ, Lucas Giolito is scheduled to pitch for the White Sox against the Rockies on the road. And they're predicting rain tomorrow, and they're predicting rain for the following day, Thursday, but we don't have a game on Thursday, so let's hope it stays away. Got a break today, that's for sure.
Cooper heading back to the first base dugout. 3 runs in. The error backed up by 2 walks, and all 3 of those runners have scored now on the back-to-back singles by Yadiel Rivera and now Jeff Mathis. Eli White, who began the game against Michael Kopech by grounding out to second, comes up now, and Anderson will try to get him to hit the ball on the ground at somebody again. That's a better breaking ball, and he fouled it back. Strike one. One thing the Rangers have to look forward to this year, they are making the move to what by all accounts is a beautiful new ballpark this year. Globe Life Field, built as a public-private partnership between the city of Arlington and the Rangers. New home for the team, also a multi-purpose facility that pitched just low. 101 for sports and entertainment. They'll be able to host a lot of different events, regional, national. They'll have multiple Grammy, CMA, and ACM award winner Chris Stapleton performing in concert. Willie Nelson, a lot of big names. Here's the 1-1 to Eli White. Chase that one.
Should be a nice place, Russ. I was down there last year for WGN Radio covering a series of Sox in Texas, and of course the big talk was about that stadium. The old park was pretty nice to me, but the new park, retractable dome, and the heat down there, it's a good idea.
And they're going to open their doors in less than 2 weeks, March 23rd. Here's the 1-2. White, did he check? He went around. Strike three on the appeal. White disappointed, walks away, but Anderson gets a needed strikeout, 2 down. And Isaiah Kiner-Falefa, who grounded out to second, and a good play by Garcia and a good play by Jose Abreu to dig out a low throw, comes up now. Yeah, March 23rd, they'll host their first game against the Cardinals, spring training game. And the first regular season game will be March 31st against the Angels.
It gets hot down there, boy, I tell you.
On the ground at third, Moncada for the force play. So after the shot by Don Cooper, Anderson finds a new gear and gets out of it, but 3 runs do score on 2 hits, 1 error, 2 left, and at the end of an inning and a half, Texas 3, the Sox nothing.
But they're early in the Angels in an afternoon game. The Sox were coming in the next day, and I was walking to the ballpark in 97-degree heat, and people, how can you play in this stuff? That's the problem down there with the retractable dome now. Makes it a lot better for the players and for everybody else.
And the heat is not that great. It's the humidity down there in the part of Texas that will really envelop you. I mean, in Vegas, where I call home, 97, you get out your parka at that time of the year.
Dry heat.
Yeah. But anyway, here's Yasmani Grandal, and he takes a strike. 0-1. I mean, it's generally 97 with the wind chill in July. 0-1 on Grandal, and Yasmani, as we've talked about, swung the bat well, 3 for 8 with a home run. And he had a hard double also, along with a home run in yesterday's game, as the Sox managed at the last moment on the Mercedes home run to forge a 3-3 tie with the Cincinnati Reds. Here's the 0-1 pitch, and that's driven to left center. They base hit, and Yasmani Grandal continues to bang the ball all over the field. He's now 4 for 9 this spring, and that's the Sox' first hit of the day.
That's his first non-extra base hit. 2 doubles and a home run coming in. Looks like he's in midseason form after sitting out most of camp, at least running-wise with a bad calf. He's back on first base there, and the Sox in business.
Mike Minor got through the first inning with a couple of ground balls and a fly ball. Yasmani Grandal gets a base hit. Texas with a 3-0 edge in the bottom of the second now. And here is Eloy Jimenez hitting .250 this spring with a home run, 3 batted in. Big rip fouled into Mathis Smith, strike 1. Minor, good repertoire, and again, very good idea at a pitch. Moves the ball around very well. 1 strike to count on Eloy Jimenez, and Andrew Vaughn out on deck. The strike 1 pitch. Strike 2.
You mentioned earlier, this guy's a pretty solid pitcher. When you go 208 innings nowadays, that's a long season for him. And 200 strikeouts, 68 walks at that 14-10 mark. So he's a mainstay in this staff.
Yeah, he did get to the All-Star game last year. He was scheduled to pitch right after the All-Star game for Texas, so he did not appear in the game itself. The 2-strike pitch, way up high, grabbed by Mathis, 1-2.
Let's see if Eloy can get a second home run of the camp. He has 3 RBIs, 1-2 count.
If he lifts one now, he'll get no help from the wind. Very still, very calm right now. They're playing to left center out in the outfield. Infield with that big shift, and it's a big bounding ball dying on the grass. Grabbed by Kiner-Falefa, who throws to first in time. On the play, Yasmani Grandal advanced it to second. That big bounding ball And with one out, the batter is the designated hitter for the Sox, Andrew Vaughn. There it is.
A little tapper over the hill. Nice play. Runner in scoring position, though, for Andrew Vaughn, who's impressed everybody in his first get-go here at camp. A .333 average, Russ. 1 home run, 5 RBIs for this young man.
He's made some good plays at first base as well. One of the really good young hopefuls for the Sox here in camp. 3-0 Texas, bottom of the second. Grandal off second. They have a similar infield setup for Vaughn as they did for Jimenez. Big breaking ball, strike, knuckle curve on the inside edge. On one, first baseman Greg Bird is the only man on the right side of the infield. Rivera, Connor Falefa, Duffy, there they are, all swung to the left. 1 strike on Andrew Vaughn. To center, White there lining it up, making the catch. That's out number 2. Grandal returns to second. Luis Robert coming up now with his big spring at .370 coming in.
1 home run, 2 RBIs for Luis. Mentioned the Rangers 78-64 last year, and of course playing in the same division with Houston, as by Chris Woodward. They finished 29 games out. A new stadium this year, and hoping to revamp and have a better season, obviously.
Reminder, this is his second outing of the spring. He had 3 hitless innings against Arizona 5 days ago. So the hit by Grandal is the first hit he's given up this spring in 5 innings total. And here's Luis Robert trying to pick up Grandal and get the Sox on the scoreboard here. Foul back, strike 1.
Speaking of Houston, you see where Justin Verlander, sore arm issue. He may not make the opening day spot for the Houston Astros. We figured to have a real rough year in terms of pressure from the fans more so than anything else.
And he got under that one. That's to right center. Heineman, the right fielder, wants it. He's got it. And the inning is over. The Sox in the bottom of the second get their first hit. But they leave Grandal at second base. No runs, a hit, no errors, 1 left after 2. Rangers 3, Sox nothing.
Hey, right around the corner and talking to people back in Chicago. One of my friends, people are golfing already. Big crowds this weekend. Some of the courses around the Chicago area. So the weather hanging in there, and again, I check the forecast almost on a daily basis. Looks good for the opening series against the Royals. So if you're thinking of coming out and joining us at the ballpark, by all means do so. Grab some tickets and enjoy what should be a very entertaining series and a good start for the White Sox as they take on the Royals in the opener March 26th. Here again to call the action today here in Glendale is Russ.
Thank you, Rich. Yep, 26th coming up fast.
It is, a couple of weeks.
Greg Bird leads it off for Texas in the top of the third against Drew Anderson. That's a nice breaking ball. It drops in there for a strike. 0-1. Anderson in his second inning of work. He worked the second relief of Michael Kopech and allowed 3 runs, one of them not earned. A couple of walks hurt him. Pitch high, 1-1. An error opening up the inning cost him a run. He did record 2 strikeouts, and so a kind of a bounce back inning for him right here. Bird took a called third strike on a Hall of Fame pitch from Michael Kopech, a 101-mile-an-hour fastball on the outside corner at the knees. Pitch is a swing and miss, 1-2. The average human couldn't hit that with a boat oar.
In case you tuned in late, 11 pitches from Michael, 7 fastballs, looked like 4 breaking pitches. A perfect first inning with 1 strikeout.
Nice outing. Here's the 1-2, and Bird hits that one fouled outside first, 1-2.
So Lucas Giolito goes tomorrow. The only guy left who has been slowed in camp is Gio Gonzalez, who I believe was supposed to pitch tomorrow. They pushed him back a little bit. He's been nursing some shoulder stuff, so hopefully Gio will be in there pretty quick.
The injury-plagued Greg Bird. He's had a slew of injuries. Trying to get healthy for the first time in a while. Here's the 1-2. And he hits that one on the ground into shallow right, and that's why you have the shift. And Garcia wings it over to Abreu, and that's 4-3 the long way. 1 out for Rob Refsnyder.
You know, Russ, you have to learn to do the play-by-play on a ball like that, not to say base hit. It looks like it's going right in there.
It's tempting.
Ball was a shot, but perfect. That's why they have the shift, obviously, and it paid off.
Yeah, all of a sudden, second basemen have to have a strong arm. They never had to have one before. Now, with one out, here's Refsnyder. He reached on Tim Anderson's error, and they're scored on a base hit by Yadiel Rivera. There's a strike. Refsnyder has a very interesting background. He was born in Seoul, South Korea, was adopted by Clint and Jane Refsnyder when he was 5 months old. His older sister, Elizabeth, was also adopted. The 0-1. 1-1. They'd had no way of knowing they were adopting a guy who would be a pretty gifted athlete. Time in the big leagues with the Yankees in Tampa. Last year in the Diamondback system, and with the Reds, hit .315 at AAA Louisville with 10 homers last year. There's the 1-1. And Refsnyder swings and gets under one. That should be caught. Luis Robert looks up into the soupy sky and puts it away. 2 down.
So an easy inning so far for Anderson after a rough second. But again, some of those pitches that were called balls were actually could have been called strikes. Got in trouble with 2 walks and gave up 3 runs. But all in all, his stuff has been there.
Matt Duffy drew a walk on a close 3-2 pitch when Refsnyder was running on the pitch, and eventually pedaled around to score on a base hit by Jeff Mathis. Matt Duffy. There's one thing that Anderson would love right now after the rocky second inning. There's a strike going one. It's a 1-2-3 inning, and Duffy stands in his way.
Drew Anderson, drafted by the Phillies back in 2012. Been up and down with the Phillies last 3 years for a few games.
Just missed. 1-1. And there's Duffy, who's been in the big leagues with San Francisco, Tampa Bay. 29 now, from Long Beach, went to Long Beach State. And it's now 1-2 on Matt Duffy.
And a much better command breaking stuff by Anderson here in his second go round. We're in the 3rd inning.
Ball and 2 strikes. Anderson zeroes in on Grandal for a side, and here comes Drew, and this one is down and away. Ball 2. 2-2. Scott Heineman on deck, but now Grandal offering a sign, and now a target was setting up inside. Fastball jammed him, fouled it away. 2-2. Every player has a story, and they're generally pretty interesting. And the way Duffy was in college, and he was trying to adjust things, and he was working with a hitting coach who urged him to read Harvey Dorfman's book, The Mental Keys to Hitting. And Duffy said he's read it at least 10 times, referring back to it whenever he's in a slump. But everybody's got what. Yep. Works for you. That's great. 3-2 on Matt Duffy.
I've tried that with golf books, Russ. Unfortunately, reading it 10 times didn't do much good for me.
Yeah.
A lot of guys too.
My golf books are paperweights now because that's hopeless.
Ben Hogan's book, one of the best ones.
Got him on a 3-2. So Anderson does a really good job of bouncing back with a quality inning, a ground ball, a lazy fly ball, and a strikeout. So he's back on track, and now he's retired 5 in a row with a couple of strikeouts tossed in. And at the end of 2.5, Rangers 3, Sox nothing.
So Texas on top here, 3-0. Drew Anderson settles down a bit in the 3rd. So far for Mike Minor, 2 innings pitched, gave up a single to Yasmani Grandal. That's been it. As we head for the bottom of the 3rd, here again, Russ.
Thank you, Rich King. Bottom of the 3rd, 8-9-1 coming up for the Sox now against Mike Minor. Some of the fans here enjoying this one. Sun is trying to fight through the clouds, but still fairly thick clouds, not many gaps up there. And the forecast says the rain could return in a couple of hours. We'll see. Bottom of the 3rd, 3-0 Texas. And Garcia checks in, and Larry grounds on the 3rd. Right there to grab it is Matt Duffy, and he wings it over to first. 1 pitch, 1 out. Larry hitting a .182 so far this spring. Before that at bat. And Adam Engel getting set to come up. He, as we've talked about several times, having a really good spring.
Yes, sir. Adam Engel off to a great start, .333. And 2 home runs, 11 RBIs to lead the team. And he's been going the other way, jumping on the first pitch a lot. And a whole different approach. Began last year, as we said many times, and it's continuing here in camp.
in at the corners in case he bunts. Here's the pitch. He does show bunt, and there's a strike, 0-1. Third baseman Duffy, first baseman Bird in tight. There they are.
You mentioned the weather. It's very spotty here, and you never know when it's going to rain. They always say a window. Roger Bossert hired a weather forecasting service years ago. I'll finish the story in a second.
Breaking ball in the dirt, 1-1.
White Sox groundskeeper we had on yesterday talking about the opening day. But anyway, I was at the game a couple of times and always ask Roger what's iffy, what the temperature, what the weather's going to be. And one day it was threatening rain. I said, Roger, what do you think? Oh, there'll be a window around 7 o'clock. Perfect. It was pouring at 7 o'clock.
What kind of window? Here's the 1-1. 1-2.
Of course, Jerry Reinsdorf paying for this service, and it's impossible. I mean, the wind shifts a little bit, and if you look at the weather forecasters on television, I mean, they're right about half the time. Just like our predictions in sports.
It's a lot of. Sometimes it's guesswork with pancake makeup.
I got the writers coming out later with their predictions. It's a rough business.
1-2. A little high. 2-2 on Engel, and if he reaches, Tim Anderson waiting on deck. Then Moncada after that. First broke into radio years ago, Rich, and I was doing news first. And a veteran radio guy showed me the teletype. Here's the 2-2. Swing and a miss, strike 3. That is the first strikeout for Minor as Anderson comes up with 2 outs in the third. And he said you got to give the news and some of the sports and the weather, but if this thing breaks and you got to get a ribbon or whatever and you got to give the weather without having the actual weather forecast, he said there's always one forecast you can give and never be wrong. Partly cloudy with a chance of showers. Just say that.
That's
He
right.
said, there's always a cloud somewhere. I never forgot that. Here now is Anderson. They didn't have windows back then, Rich. Back when you were interviewing Red Grange.
I know we had
Strike 1, Anderson.
We had a great weather team at WGN, Tom Skilling, of course, but Jim Ramsey, the weekend guy, was with me all the time, and he used to always have these 7-day forecasts with little clouds at every day. And I said, Jim, why do you put clouds in there every day? It's only 20% chance of rain. Because if it happens, he's got it. He's nailed it.
It's self-defense. Pitch pull foul, 0-2.
I said, I'm golfing Tuesday. I don't want to see a cloud up there.
2 strikes on Tim Anderson. Matt Duffy on foul ball duty down there. He's going to go give it to a fan. That's good job, Matt. And he's getting back to his position now. Anderson rolled out to short to begin matters. So Minor's gone through the Sox order once, retiring 9 of 10. The only blemish was the Grandal single opening up the second. 0-2 on Tim Anderson. Minor reading Mathis, and here's the 0-2. Up and in, 1-2.
Tim Anderson poised for another good year, and a big goal for him this year, as he said many times, is cut down those errors. And the ball's right at him, giving the most trouble, like today. He makes the great plays and sometimes kicks the easy ones.
Slowly to short. Connor Falefa picks it up and throws, and it's in the dirt. Bird cannot dig it out. Mathis hustles over to get it near the coaching box. And Anderson safe at first on that ground ball, slowly hit, rolling along the grass. Yohan Moncada comes up.
That should be an error right there. They would have had him at first base. Him, of course, hustling as usual. And there's the error on the board for the Rangers. So each team now with one error. Each shortstop has one error.
Moncada hit a fly ball to shallow center in the first inning. One of only a couple of balls hit out of the infield so far against Minor. Again, each shortstop has committed an error. Anderson leads away from first. Fastball down below the knees. Ball 1 on Yohan Moncada. Outfield straight away, infield pretty much straight up, although second baseman Rivera shifted toward the bag. Here's the pitch, and it's high. Like something off speed, 2-0. So the right side of the infield wide open. Jose Abreu, which is turned on. There's that giant gap on the right side with Bird holding Anderson on at first. 2-0. Anderson has a slightly larger lead than he had the previous pitch, and that one's pulled foul outside third between Nick Capra and the line. 2-1. This time Adolis Garcia goes over to grab it.
So we're now past the halfway point. 18 games in the book in spring in the Cactus League here after a 3-3 tie yesterday against the Reds. White Sox 10-6-2. Last year they had 12 wins, so they figure obviously to get more than that this year. Off to a great start.
Throw to first and scrambling back in again. Tim Anderson. 2-1 on Yoan Moncada. That's a tough division that they're in. That Western Division with Houston and Oakland and the Angels trying to get better. 2-1. Strike.
Well, the Angels, we saw them, Russ, over in Diablo Stadium in Tempe with Rendon in there and Trout back to back. That's rough. They have good offense. Ohtani's in there, so they've got a real good offense. The only question they have is pitching, as you can say that about everybody, I guess, but that's their issue.
This will be a 2-2 to Moncada. Oh, off the rubber is Mike Minor.
I was talking to somebody at one of the Angel people there when I did the game, and Ohtani, I guess, will pitch a month into the season, they were saying. He'll start out hitting, but hasn't pitched for quite some time.
Minor paired with Lance Lynn in the Texas rotation last year. That was a good 1-2 punch for the Rangers. The pitch, that's swung on and missed. Strike three. So that's the second strikeout for Minor. He's had 3 good innings so far. And for the Sox in the third, no runs, no hits. 1 Texas error, 1 left. To the fourth, 3-0 Rangers. There you go. All right. Thanks, Rich. Top of the fourth now, with the Rangers on the strength of a 3-run second inning against Drew Anderson, who struggled with his control in that inning, but had a nice rebound in the third, getting him out 1-2-3 with just a few pitches. So now, top of the fourth, the right-handed hitting right fielder Scott Heineman to start it off. Then Adolis Garcia and Yadiel Rivera in that order. All righties, big breaking ball, nice pitch. Strike one. That thing, serious downward break. Heineman, 27 years old now. Put up some good numbers in the minors and hoping to find a home in the Texas outfield. Pitch outside. 1 ball and 1 strike is the count. Heineman, brother Tyler, is a catcher in the Giants organization. He made his big league debut with the Diamondbacks last year, did his brother. Swing and a miss, 1-2, and they try to make a contribution of their own. The two brothers hosted the second annual Primetime Charity Casino Classic this past January, raising money for a good cause, trying to get intervention programs for at-risk kids in the LA area, including academic athletics and leadership training and the arts. The pitch misses, 2-2, so that's good stuff from the Heineman boys. And Scott played 4 years at the University of Oregon for the Oregon Ducks.
9 for 25 coming in. A walk his first time up, scored a run, looking for his first home run and RBI of the camp.
3-2. Think about Heineman. He hasn't much of a chance in the big leagues. 75 at bats last year in his first taste of the big leagues, hitting .213. But he's hit everywhere he's been. Hit .340 in 159 at bats at Nashville, AAA, with 8 home runs. And the year before at Round Rock, AAA, just outside of Austin, at .295 at 11 home runs and 20 doubles and drove in 57 runs. And he bangs a base hit up the middle. So Heineman now has walked and scored and singled. And the batter is Adolis Garcia, the former Cardinal.
Well, they're extending Drew Anderson here after 1 inning from Kopech. Anderson working his third. He's thrown a lot of pitches. We mentioned he walked 2 guys in the second. Could have had him struck out, but didn't get the call. So he's working on a lot of big pitch count here in this outing here today in Glendale.
3 hits for Texas, all off Anderson. And there's a high fly ball to right. Adam Engel looking up, waiting. He's got it. Heineman tags, but he's not going anywhere. A perfect throw from Engel to Tim Anderson. Wow, that's a chest-high strike. Maybe Adam Engel will throw batting practice from right field.
Well, he's got a great arm and obviously great range out there, and wherever he's playing, right or center. Look at that right side. He got Robert in center who can really get him, and Engel and right. Pretty good defensive tandem there.
Yep, great pick right there. 1 on 1 out for Rivera. He singled in the first run of the game in the second against Anderson, and now the rematch. 3-0 Rangers, top of the fourth. Anderson. Breaking ball, lifting foul to the right. Much better command of that breaking ball the last couple of innings than he had in the second inning.
You know, Russ, his line won't look good, but it's spring training, and that's deceiving because he got the error by Anderson, which got a guy on in the second. Then those 2 walks, as we mentioned, split hair pitches. It could have been strike 3 on both guys and didn't get it.
1 strike. Heineman, not too big of a lead off first, but he goes. Swing and a miss. Grandal throws a 1-hopper, and he's in there. So Heineman didn't have a big lead, but got a really good jump. And Grandal rushed his throw and bounced it, and it's 2 strikes on Yadiel Rivera with 1 out.
Tough way all the way around for Grandal. A breaking pitch to begin with, a good jump, and kind of an off-balance throw. He got him. Got the stolen base.
0-2. Heineman dancing way off the bag, and that gets Anderson off the rubber. 0-2.
Cody Heyer expects the pitch today along with Brian Mitchell and Cody Medeiros for the White Sox here against the Rangers.
Just inside, 1-2.
White Sox wrap up the season again in the Cactus League with 2 games at Chase Field against the Diamondbacks on March 23rd and 24th. An off day to fly home, and opening day the 26th.
Anderson having a look at Heineman, and that one is poked to right. That's a base hit. Over to get it is Engel. Heineman heading toward the plate. The throw goes into second, and the Rangers lead 4-0 on an RBI single by Yadiel Rivera, who is 2 for 2.
So the stolen base pays off. Heineman able to come in there. You see him trotting back to the Rangers dugout, and that's going to be it, I think, for Drew Anderson. There's the pitch. Anderson logging a lot of pitches here, and here comes Ricky out to make the change.
All right, that's it for Anderson. So Anderson, a rocky second. He mentioned some close calls went against him, and the error hurt him. And a much better third, and here in the fourth, he will leave. So Anderson will get credit for 2 1/3 innings. And during the time, he allowed 4 hits, 2 of them to Yadiel Rivera. He issued back-to-back walks in the second, and both of them were cashed in for runs. And in his 2 1/3 innings, he did record a total of 3 strikeouts. He's been charged with 4 runs so far, 3 earned, and the runner at first, obviously Rivera, belongs to him. And the Sox new pitcher,
Carson Fulmer.
there he is.
Yep, not on the sheet, but in the game today. He's had a pretty good spring. The Sox, I mentioned, out of options this year on Fulmer, who's a #1 draft pick, and has shown enough to Ricky, I think, to make a run at the roster here. He's been in the big leagues, of course, up and down the past few years, but he's coming in here. Really, this guy always comes in with a great attitude, as we mentioned many times. And you're pulling for the guy like this. He just has not gotten it together in a big way in his big league career yet, but could be a valuable bullpen guy. He's been a lot of action. 1, 2, 3, 6 games so far for Carson. Last game on the 8th against San Diego, 2/3 scoreless. He's given up pretty scant runs here. Let's see, 2 runs in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, about 7 1/3 innings. So pretty good outings here for Carson Fulmer. Good one against the Cubs we saw out there in Mesa. 1 inning pitch for him in that game, just 1 hit. So the right-hander hoping to hang on here and get a spot in the bullpen as the White Sox bring him on here in the 4th inning, a run in, and down now 4-0. Let's hope he keeps it where it is and we can fight back again in this one, Russ.
First guy's going to face Jeff Mathis. So Carson Springer Fulmer, 6 feet tall, 195, 26 years old, born in Lakeland. First round pick by the Sox 5 years ago. Big league debut the following year. Vanderbilt product. And here he comes. So it's been Kopech, Anderson, And now Fulmer. And if you missed it, Kopech looked terrific in his 1 inning. Good breaking ball. Strike 1 on Mathis.
Well, Kopech figures to begin the season in the minors, but I don't think it'll be very long before you see him up here again.
Strike on Mathis. Rivera off first base, about 3.5 or so steps, far enough to draw a throw, and back he goes.
One concern I mentioned earlier is Gio Gonzalez, who has been slowed by that shoulder injury. Announced the first day of camp that he had the shoulder, but he's been coming along pretty well.
0-1. Mathis hits it fouled outside third. 0-2.
And early in the year, of course, is probably rainouts, off days, so you might get by with 4 pitchers for a while in the rotation. So we'll see what happens. Ricky's got a lot of options. One thing that came up again today was that we spend more time with the 26 guys as if it's some kind of huge story, which it is to the guy making the team. But overall, the grand scheme of things, it's not. But tough decisions. A lot of talent in this roster, pitching-wise and in the field for the White Sox.
Mathis waiting. Strike 3 called on the inside corner. That's a quality pitch at 93 right over the inner edge. Well, Fulmer comes in, gets a big strikeout. Mathis 1 for 2. And Eli White, the leadoff man, who against Kopech grounded out to open the game, and against Anderson struck out trying to check his swing, comes up now. Texas is managed by Chris Woodward, who was an infielder, a couple of different organizations, including Toronto, and then he was a coach in the Dodgers system. One of the good guys around the game, Chris Woodward. The runner goes, pitch is high, Grandel's throws right on the money, out. Great throw. Garcia, a little trouble with it as Rivera was sliding in, but it's in the books as a 2-4 caught stealing, and here it is again.
There it is. Great breaking pitch again. Nice throw by Zolani, and he got it off the base, and he's out. Inning over.
He might have missed the tag the first time, but he got him. A run in on 2 base hits, no errors, and nobody left. We head to the bottom of the 4th inning. Texas 4, the Sox nothing.
There, look, clouds in the sky, but the good news is the rain stayed away, and we're getting this game in. Plenty of time left before that rain returns at 4 o'clock. So Sox need some runs, though. Down 4-0. Here again is Russ.
Thanks, Rich. 3, 4, and 5 for the Sox here. Meat of the order against Mike Minor. Some more of the folks here. Jose Abreu, Yasmani Grandal is the only hit so far, and Eloy Jimenez. But Minor, midseason form, 3 hitless innings against Arizona 5 days ago, 3 scoreless so far against the Sox. And here's Abreu, who rolled out to short to end the 1st inning against Minor. And the pitch is a knee-high strike. 0-1 to Jose.
Well, good to see Carson Fulmer come in there and get the side out.
Inside, 1-1.
You know, he's a valuable guy in a lot of ways. He can start, so if there's any injuries crop up or whatever, and you need a spot starter, they'll extend him a little bit here in camp, I imagine. But Carson, a valuable guy to have on the team.
Foul away. It looked like the circle changeup right there with some serious downward action. Jose out in front of it. 1-2 to count. The Rangers, like everybody else, just trying to get better. They had 78 wins last year, finishing in 3rd in the AL West. And that's 11 wins better than their dismal 2018 season when they only won 67 games. That 11-win improvement, that's low to Abreu. The 3rd largest single season increase in baseball last year. And so Chris Woodward's 2nd year with Texas, and of course on the other side, Rick Renteria, season 5 for the Sox. 2-2 on Jose Abreu. Mike Minor winds and works. Breaking ball hit inside third, past a diving Duffy, and it hits the padded wall. Garcia over to get it, and it's going to be a long single for Abreu. because the way that wall juts out, it makes it easier for the left fielder.
Yeah, good thing Jose held up. That would have been out at second base, and why risk injury? But a base hit here, second hit for the White Sox, and maybe the start of a good inning. There it is, inside pitch, breaking pitch, drilled it down the line, just fair in the corner. There's the bounce, convenient, and Jose holding up.
Grandal has the other hit coming up now. Switch hitter, batting right-handed, and when he singled in the second against Minor, it was his 4th hit of the spring, but his first single. Home run and 2 doubles. The other hits is a strike 0-1. So the Sox have 2 hits. And Minor has been in pretty good command right since the national anthem now. Trying to work through this. Sox trying to stir the pot. Pitch up and away, 1-1.
And no activity in the Rangers bullpen or the White Sox bullpen as we look out there.
Abreu, a very modest lead at first. Greg Bird is off the bag. The 1-2, and that one, or 1-1 that is. That 1-1 drops in for a strike. Now it is 1-2. Grandal, who's back, questions a call a little bit. One and two. Fastball, 2-2. Eloy Jimenez waits on deck. Texas 3 in the second, 1 in the fourth. Sox have been quiet. But again, they've got 10 wins so far this spring. Most of them of the come from behind variety. Here's the 2-2 pitch. Grandal bangs that one to deep center. Back goes White at the track and reaches up and makes a great catch in front of the wall. Back to first goes Abreu, and right there, Yasmani Grandal robbed by Eli White.
Boy, he's really on everything. Minor comes in there, a high fastball. Looked like he drilled that thing out there to the warning track. Nice catch, but boy, what an impressive start for Yasmani Grandal with the extra base hits, the home run. That could have been a double easily.
Still hitting 400 despite the out. And here's Jimenez, who hit a chopper to short, charged by Connor Falefa, the shortstop, who threw him out. The wind had been blowing like it was yesterday. Bye-bye, baby. Here's the pitch. Jimenez swings and misses, strike 1.
Boy, the guy's in a groove, and it didn't take him long after seeing it out. The batting cage must have worked great. That's all they could do for a while. The calf injury.
Fastball, 1-1.
You know, it's interesting to watch how these guys think or see how they think. Grandal hurt the calf injury. The medical staff cleared him. They did x-rays, whatever, MRI. He was fine. In his own mind, though, he's worried about running. He said, I'm worried about testing this thing. And once he tested it and hit a double in a big game, everything was fine.
2-1.
It's quite common, of course. If you have an injury, you're always worried. Guys with knee injuries worry about whether they can do it again. But he's certainly doing it in a big way.
Absolutely. He's come roaring back here. 2 balls and a strike on Jimenez. Minor, a little glance over there to see where Jose is. And there's a line drive to first, Bread. And it's right at Greg Bird. And that double play is the inning. Oh, Mike Minor, very effective in the first 3. But boy, I'll tell you what. He had some good luck going for him in this inning. There is the line drive.
Nothing you can do about that. Jose leading off, and not his fault. Right ball right at the first baseman, ends the inning.
You know, the Abreu ball could have easily been a double, but it hit that fence. And then the great play by White of the ball by Grandal. So Minor really sharp in the first 3, fooled nobody in this inning, but he gets out of it. At the end of 4, Rangers 4, Sox nothing.
Of everything, buys an all-inclusive experience from the 150 people. Visit WhiteSox.com or call 312-674-1000 for more information. Okay, we head to the top of the 5th inning as a double play, a line shot ends the inning. Nothing Jose could do about that at first base, and some bum luck. But Parson Fulmer back on the hill, and here again, back behind the mic is Russ.
Thank you, Rich King. It'll be the top of the order. Eli White and then Isaiah Kiner-Falefa, the shortstop, and then Greg Bird after that. Kopech, Anderson, Drew Anderson, 2 1/3, allowing 3 runs, 2 earned on 4 hits, walked 2, struck out 3. Fulmer went the last 2/3 of an inning. He struck out Jeff Mathis when he relieved Anderson in the 4th inning. And then when Yadiel Rivera tried to run, he ran into the right arm of Yasmani Grandal, who threw him out with a great throw. White was at the plate. There's strike 1 on White. White was at the plate when Rivera was thrown out. So he's up there now with a fresh count, and Eli has an 0-1 count. But since he was up there before, although he's 0 for 2 with a ground out and a strikeout, he's made a nice contribution. Robin Grandal had a great catch a moment ago. Good breaking ball by Fulmer, and it's 0-2.
You know, Russ, you were talking about the Rangers earlier in that tough division, 29 games out, 3rd place. Their lineup, the series I saw last year when I was on the road for WGN in Texas, they're pretty potent. They got some really good bats in there. Not playing today, Rugnet Ordoro among them. Ronald Guzman, along with Willie Calhoun, is hurt.
That's a tough pitch right there to put White away. 1 out, 2 strikeouts for Fulmer, and here's Kiner-Falefa.
And Willie Calhoun, he gave you the update earlier. He's going to be out for a while with that fastball to his face a couple of days ago. Hit 269 last year, 21 homers and 48 RBIs. Kind of a breakout season for him. You got Sin Chu in there, Joey Gallo. It's a real good hitting club.
They always seem to have the offense. Strike 1, 0-1.
Well, they've added Kluber, they got Minor, they got Lance Lynn, Kyle Gibson, the ex-Twin. So they are they're hanging in there pretty good. But that you're up against the Astros now. Who knows what's going to happen to the Astros this year?
0-2. A lot of talk about that throughout spring training.
Well, again, some of the people I talk to don't expect them to get hit by the pitch a lot, but the fans will be all over them, and it's going to be. Plus, they won't know the pitches, so it's a huge difference.
Routine in the air to center where Luis Robert hangs out. He's got that one. 2 down. Greg Bird, who struck out against Kopech and grounded out against Anderson, coming up now.
So you mentioned the Angels in there. They got a good club except for their pitching question mark. So well, here later on, we hope you stay with us because we're going to have the Chicago White Sox beat writers, Daryl Von Scowen, Scott Merkin, and Lamont Pope. Their predictions for the White Sox coming up in the later innings.
Breaking ball snaps in there for a strike to Greg Bird. Bird, a guy that touted for stardom, but he had a lot of good years, a lot of power in the Yankee minor league system, but beset by all kinds of injuries. It's outside, 1-1. He's had shoulder surgery. He's had problems with his right ankle. He had surgery on that 2 years ago. Last year, hurt basically the entire year with a left plantar fascia tear. Been trying to bounce back from all that. Pitch low, 2-1.
Carson Fulmer trying to wrap things up here with 2 out. He came in, got a strikeout, caught stealing for an out, and all this inning, a strikeout and a fly ball.
2-1. Fulmer lets this one fly. And it's lifted foul, slicing to the left. Out on the walkway. Fans trying to chase that one down. 2 balls and 2 strikes on Greg Bird.
Carson Fulmer, nice breaking pitch there as he's continues his good work here in the Cactus League.
2-2. Fulmer off the rubber, back on 2-2. And he fought that one off. Still 2-2. Bird, born in Memphis, the family moved to Colorado when he was 10. Was a catcher in high school. As a senior, hit .553, and that'll open some eyes no matter who you are.
I'd say.
2-2. Especially if you're a catcher hitting like that. Now here's the 2-2 pitch to Greg Bird. That's a beautiful pitch by Fulmer. Man, is that a nice pitch. Well, Fulmer lights out. He faced 4 hitters and struck out 3 of them. If his day is over, it ended beautifully right there. And we're halfway through at the end of 4.5 on a cloudy day in Glendale. Rangers 4, Sox nothing.
We called it last week good. Brio got a base hit, could have been a double, was a single, but then the line shot double play to end the inning. So let's see if the White Sox can at least start something going here against Mike Minor.
Andrew Vaughn, Luis Robert, and Larry Garcia. Garcia batting 8th. Vaughn 0 for 1 to the fly ball to center his first time up. And Minor's pitch. Inside ball 1. 4 runs, 4 hits, 1 error for Texas. Sox no runs, 2 hits, and 1 error. Minor, 14-game winner last year for the Texas Rangers. Back with a 1-0 to Vaughn. Strike, 1-1. Right-hander throwing in the Ranger pen. Can't see the number from here. Sox have action in their pen, so it might be it for Fulmer, who again was very sharp in the brief time he was in there. Here's the 1-1 to Vaughn. Ball 2, 2-1.
One morning we'll see some changes for both teams.
3-1 on Andrew Vaughn.
We're going to see Danny Mendick come in at shortstop. Chesler Cuthbert will be in there at third base. Palka's going to be in the game. Collins, Brugman, Basabe. Some of the guys you can look forward to seeing the rest of the way.
Andrew going for the downs of that swing. 3-2. Full count.
Rick Hahn really singling out Vaughn as one of the guys that maybe opened a few eyes here in camp.
Got him. That pitch came in on him. And a good movement. So that's the 3rd strikeout for Minor. 1 out for Luis Robert, who skied out to right to finish the Sox 2nd inning.
Vaughn, of course, will get some seasoning in the minors, but Rick was saying he's way ahead of what they projected. He looks like a guy's been around for 2 or 3 years instead of just 1.
There's a high fly ball to right. Heineman at the edge of the track, backing up a little more, and he's got enough room. So Luis gave it a better ride that time, but Heineman had room to grab it. 2 down for Larry Garcia.
And that may be it for Minor. Let's see if they can leave him in there for one more inning. Maybe not. Powwow on the hill for the Rangers. As Minor pitched a great game. 4 2/3 innings for him as he has a nice hand for the Ranger fans in the third base area. Minor gave up just 2 hits in the game. Looks like he struck out 3 and walked nobody as he leaves here. Nobody on, so his log is done for Mike Minor, the left-hander for Texas, as they make a change here. Sox are down 4-0. The Rangers got 3 in the second and 1 more in the fourth. Sox just have 2 hits, as I mentioned, off Minor. Each team has an error. As we change pitchers here in the bottom half of the 5th inning.
All right. There's the right-hander. We're just getting word on
number 25, Russ.
There he is. That is Jose Leclerc. Leclerc. Limbering up right now, and boy, Mike Minor, that's a tough act to follow. 4 2/3, no runs, 2 singles, no walks, 3 strikeouts, and he only allowed 1 man to get past first. That was Grandal, who singled and went to second on a ground out in the 2nd inning. He did give up hard contact in the 4th, but no runs. So Jose Leclerc comes in now to at least finish this inning and perhaps go beyond this inning.
Jose Leclerc is 6 feet, 190 pounds. And he's from Esperanza, Dominican Republic. And he was drafted or signed by the Rangers years ago, and coming in a veteran, 4 years in the big leagues. Last year 2-4, 4.33 and 70 games for Jose, as he saved 14. So he comes in, the right-hander, struck out 100 guys, walked only 39. So a mainstay for the Texas Rangers, number 25. Jose Leclerc.
His best year was the previous year, Rich. In 2018, he got into 59 games, 2-3 with a 1.56 ERA, and a dozen saves and had 85 strikeouts in less than 58 innings. And he's got a brother, Aniello, also a right-handed pitcher, chosen by the Red Sox in the Rule 5 draft. So there you go. Leclerc going to face Garcia. Ball one. Garcia grounded out to third, opening up the third against Minor. And now he's batting left-handed for the first time today against Jose Leclerc. Well hit to center. White getting tested again, but he's not going to get this one. It's the base of the wall. Now he has to chase it, and Garcia has a booming 400-foot double to keep the inning going in the fifth.
No chance out there. That ball was drilled over the center fielder's head, and Leary now 1 for 2. Here's the replay as Leclerc comes in and gives him right over the middle of the plate, like a high fastball. He just drilled it out there. No chance at all. For a while you thought it might get out, but that's a long way out there at 410. But Leary on second base, and so the White Sox can cash in here in the second pitcher for the Rangers. Adam Engel steps in.
Engel struck out in the third, so Leclerc trying to regain his 2018 form. Breaking ball, call strike, 0-1. Yeah, that year 2018, he was one of just 4 big league pitchers with 50 or more innings, a whip of under 1, and 13 or more strikeouts average for every 9 innings. Only Chris Sale, Josh Hader, and Edwin Diaz did that. Leclerc in some nice company there, and there's a foul ball to the right. 2 strikes on Engel.
You look at this team overall with guys like Leclerc, a Minor pitching well. They had a decent rotation. Once again, look at the numbers, 29 games out. It's kind of rough to see for Texas Ranger fans.
Leclerc's problem last year was a home run ball. He allowed 7 of them after giving up only 5 in his first 3 big league seasons put together. So he had an ERA of over 4, the highest of his career. Garcia at second, 2 outs. 5th inning, 4-0 Rangers. The 0-2 to the backstop. Down to third goes Garcia. 1 ball and 2 strikes.
There was a wild pitch way high. Mathis couldn't hang on, and that was be a wild pitch. Man on third base now, but 2 outs here in the 5th. You wonder if the new stadium will be a big factor for them, because that heat down there can grind you down here, especially get to August. If you have the dome out there, and be a big difference.
1-2 on Engel. Garcia, the first Sox player to get as far as third base in this game, and that pitch is in the dirt. Mathis had to block that one. 2-2. They ended up scoring that last one, a pass ball. So 2 balls and 2 strikes in Engel. Anderson waiting on deck. Timmy hoping for a chance here as the Sox trying to scratch back into this game. The 2-2. Nice pitch. Got him. Strike 3. Engel not thrilled with that call whatsoever.
Good curve, yep.
In the 5th, the Sox turned away. No runs, 1 hit, no errors. They leave Larry Garcia at third. The Texas Ranger the advantage. Texas 11-7 on the spring. Sox a similar record, 10-6-2. There's Southpaw, southpawing his way to the end of the dugout.
Trying to swim.
Well, he's inspired by the rain we had earlier, I guess.
Coming in again.
Tell us about the new pitcher, Mr. Rich King.
Cody Heyer, a flamethrower, 99 miles an hour. We clocked him a couple of times this year. Perfect, 0.00 ERA. This is his, let's see, 1, 2, 3, his 6th appearance already. Very impressive. Another guy that Rick Hahn singled out as one of the bright spots in this camp among the young players.
Cody Heyer out of Wichita State. Here's the pitch. Fastball high, ball 1, 98 miles an hour to the Texas designated hitter, Rob Refsnyder, who has reached on an error and scored and flat out to center, 0 for 2. A nice outing by Carson Fulmer. Inning and 2/3, no runs, no hits, no walks, 3 strikeouts. Sox pitchers have struck out 7 in 5 innings. Pitch outside. 2-0. Cody Heyer, 6'5", 195. There he is. Heuer, 23 years old. He'll be 24 in July. 6th round pick in 2018. last year divided the season fairly evenly between Class A Winston-Salem and Double A Birmingham. That pitch crackles in there for a strike at 98 on Refsnyder. And then last year, I mean, just everywhere he went at Winston-Salem, 4-1 with a 2.82 ERA and 43 strikeouts, only 8 walks. That's a great ratio. Here's the 2-1. Blew it by him, also at 98, 2-2. Then at Birmingham in 22 games, a 1.84 ERA and 9 saves, and in 29 innings, 22 strikeouts, 7 walks. So in his career, 29 walks, 100 strikeouts, and anybody will be happy with a ratio like that.
That's for sure.
Toward the right field line, Engel on the run, and it's in the corner. Refsnyder on his way to second base, and he has a stand-up double as the throw comes back in.
And so as you watch the Rangers bat here in the 6th inning, we told you earlier, bringing some predictions from the beat writers. Daryl Van Scarwen, who is the Sun-Times beat writer, has been with the team for a few years. These guys are every day with the team. They cover all the information. They're wired. So we predict the White Sox here, Russ and I, in the playoffs. Let's see what these guys have to say. Here's Daryl on where the White Sox shape up in the American League in 2020.
I think they're much improved. I mean, they lost 72 games last year, so they have a lot of ground to make up. But I think they probably have a chance to be in the top third, maybe 7th, 8th, or 9th best team, and they could surprise. They have the potential to do that because they have so much young blossoming talent that we don't know how they're going to develop, and that's going to be one of the fun things to watch.
Predictions are hard to make here sitting in camp, but so a possible wild card?
Well, I think so. I think they'll be in the mix, and I think they might be able to make an addition, at mid-season that would, if they're in position, I think they'll be in a position to make a deal and beef up the roster and have a shot. If they're a few games over 500, then they'll probably be in the mix, and they certainly have the roster, I would think, to be able to do that. But there's some question marks. I think starting pitching yet is still kind of dicey. We don't know what Lopez is going to be this year. We don't know what Dylan Cease is going to be this year, and if those guys are who they potentially could be, could make a big difference. But they still have to prove that, right?
And finally, the American League overall. I've been asking the other guys, top teams. Yankees, of course, banged up again. We talked about the Astros, what their situation is. What do you see as the top teams, perhaps top 3 or 4 teams?
You still have to like the Yankees, and I think the Astros are going to play with a chip on the shoulder, with something to prove after everything that happened last year. That's going to be a motivating factor for them, and I think that could we'll see what happens. It'll be interesting to watch and see how what they do with all that, won't it?
Okay, Daryl Van Scarwen of the Chicago Sun-Times, his predictions on where the Sox shape up, Russ.
Interesting thoughts there. 3-1 on Matt Duffy. Ball 4. So a double and a walk. Duffy now has struck out and walked twice and scored once. 2 on. And Heineman, who has walked and scored, singled and stolen a base and scored. Both of his plate appearances against Drew Anderson. Coming up now against Cody Heyer and meeting at the mound.
Time for a big meeting after 2 guys on. Daryl, of course, a longtime beat writer for the Chicago White Sox. Later on, Scott Merkin of MLB.com and Lamont Pope of the Tribune will give us their thoughts. And we have, of course, we're biased here, obviously, but much higher expectations here in this booth for the White Sox. My personal feeling is that lineup's going to make up for a lot of, if there is some pitching problems, it'll make up for a lot of mistakes. And score 5-6 runs a game makes it easier on the pitcher. So we'll see what happens. Predictions are what they're worth in spring training, as we all know.
Heineman looks at a strike on 199 on the gun on that pitch toward the outside. And as you pointed out in one of our earlier webcasts, Rich, the other question for the Sox, can they tighten up that defense,
yes,
which was an issue last year?
25th out of 30 teams. You got to play better ball.
0-1. Inside move, and that's a great play by Garcia. Otherwise, that ball's into center field.
Low and outside throw there by Heyer. And Garcia made a nice backhand catch to save it.
Garcia kept the double play in order by making that stab. You know, you got Hire throwing that ball. That's not easy to catch the way he throws. Pitch down and away, 1-1. I had a chance to meet Don Drysdale years ago in Vero Beach, and he was talking about as a pitcher making pickoff throws. Especially young guys, he goes, you got to be careful how you grip the ball. You're looking for a sign, you're gripping for a certain pitch, then you throw to a base, you can throw sliders and splitters and all kinds of stuff over there. 1-1. One and two. 100-mile-an-hour fastball that time.
We saw Kopech, and again, he pitched a great inning. He was first 3 pitches, 100, 101, 100, I think it was. 11 pitches in all from Michael. Again, perfect first, struck out a guy, and he's done for the day and very successful.
1 and 2. Hire has kind of a low arm slot, which adds some deception to that heat. Pitch foul back, 1 and 2, and that certainly didn't hurt him last year when it came to keeping the ball in the ballpark. Last year, he pitched a total of 67 innings between Winston-Salem and Birmingham and did not give up a home run. 2 on, nobody out, 6th inning, 4-0 Texas. Hire trying to keep his good spring going. As Rich pointed out, he's not given up a run yet. 5 innings. With a walk and 7 strikeouts until he walked Duffy a moment ago.
And that's the impressive figure you mentioned there. 7 strikeouts, 1 walk. Now 2 walks as he walked the guy in this game, but he's been very, very impressive. Brian Mitchell scheduled the pitch also in this game.
Action in the Sox bullpen out in right field. Texas bullpen quiet for now. Sox infield straight up looking for 2. Hire working with Grandal. These are important innings, as we mentioned earlier, for Grandal to get acquainted with the staff he's going to be working with. That's ball 2, 2 and 2.
It is, and but he's also in bullpen sessions. You see him, going back there as I did a few times, you see him grab pitchers after the throwing session. They have these lengthy discussions. In fact, first day I was here was Kopech. Grandal took him aside and they had a long chat, and that's, you know, a veteran like that can really be of great service. Also to a guy like Bernardo Flores, a young man who had a long conversation with Grandal.
Wide at third, Moncada to second for 1, on to first. Got him. Nicely done. Moncada to Garcia with the pivot, and Lurie with a quick peg to Jose Abreu, and they just got him. Here it is.
Boy, Lurie Garcia, you know, this guy's amazing. Watch this pivot. He's done a great job at second base. He has played a lot of second base, and he made a nice pivot and got the throw in there in time to get the out. Big play. Now man on third with 2 outs.
Adolis Garcia has struck out and flat out to right. Cody Hire's pitch. Fastball away at 99, ball 1, 1-0.
After Grandal was talking to Bernardo Flores after a session, I asked Flores what kind of advice he got, and he said, well, he was telling me that I was rushing it. He says, take your time. You're pushing up too quick, and that's why the ball is sailing a little bit. So things like that are invaluable to a young pitcher.
Hit well, right center. Robert watching it. It's on its way, and it's gone. Adolis Garcia. And there's a nice catch by a fan. That's the second best catch of the game, other than the catch by Eli White a few innings ago. And that 2-run home run, we mentioned Hire keeping the ball in the yard, but right there, Garcia takes it out, and the Texas Rangers now own a 6-0 lead.
That ball had that sound, Russ, that you knew was tagged and gone the minute it hit the bat. And that for Garcia, that's his 3rd home run here in the Cactus League. He now has driven in 5 runs. He's got 7 hits, so he's off to a great start for the Rangers.
Here's Rivera, singled in a run and singled in another run, 2 for 2. Fastball misses upstairs, ball 1 at 99. He was also caught stealing, and a great throw by Yasmani Grandal to finish the 4th inning when Carson Fulmer was in there. This is the first time that Hire has been scored upon this spring, and this is his 6th outing. The 1-0 to Rivera, and he takes it inside, ball 2, 2-0. Kopech, Anderson, Fulmer, and Hire. I'll tell you, boy, Kopech, Fulmer, and Hire just lighting up the radar gun. Here's the 2-0. Fastball up and away, At 98, it's 3-0.
We said that when Gio Gonzalez's first news conference. I've never seen anything like it. In these bullpen sessions, the ball just cracks in there. You can hear that mitt crack. I've never seen so many hard throwers in my life in one camp.
A lot of power arms here in Glendale. The 3-0. Strike 3-1 on the outside. Rivera taking all the way. Jeff Mathis waiting on deck. So now 6 runs, 6 hits. 1 error for Texas. Sox no runs, 3 hits and 1 error. First home run of the game. It's hit by Adolis Garcia, the former Cardinal. The 3-1. And that's a dunker into right center. Yadiel Rivera's 3 for 3. Engel gets it back in. He just served it out there.
Fought that one off and got it to drop in right center for a base hit. So Heyer's perfect spring is history as he gives up some runs here, but that's maybe going to be it for him as Ricky comes out. Heyer a double, a walk, double play almost got him out of trouble, but then the home run by Garcia, 2-run shot, and now the single, which pretty good pitch. He just fought it off and got it to drop in. That's going to be it for Cody Heyer as he is out of there.
Oh, all good things must come to an end, and for Heyer, 5 really good outings and gives up a couple of runs here. With 2 outs, he'll be lifted. And the Sox will bring in now their 5th pitcher of the day. I believe it's Brian Mitchell that we talked about a moment ago.
Brian Mitchell got tagged for a walk-off home run at a game in Surprise. But overall, Mitchell in 4 games for the White Sox in the Cactus League has given up, let's see, 2 runs, 4 hits, 2 1/3 innings. That works out to a 7.71 ERA. As he comes on here, White Sox down 6-0 in the cloudy skies of Glendale, Arizona.
All right, Mitchell, the last time he pitched was 3 days ago when he worked a scoreless inning in Scottsdale Stadium against the San Francisco Giants. And then he scored upon the first 2 times he worked. February 26th over in Surprise when the Royals got to him for a run in an inning in the 3rd, and then he faced one hitter when he faced the Rangers over in Surprise 3 days later and did give up a solo home run. So his 4th outing, Brian Mitchell, and his first here at home following Michael Kopech, Drew Anderson, Carson Fulmer, Cody Heyer.
And we took that game in that you mentioned, Russ, in Surprise against the Rangers. In that game, the Sox came back and tied it at 6-6. And he came in the 9th inning. The first pitch, Russ, Blake Swihart just drilled one on the berm out there, and Surprise that was the story. 7-6 Rangers victory. But here he is again, trying to impress the coaching staff as he appears here in the 6th inning.
He'll face Jeff Mathis, who had a 2-run single in the 3-run 2nd inning against Drew Anderson, then struck out looking, facing Carson Fulmer in the 4th. 36-year-old Mathis now to take on Brian Mitchell. And Mitchell inherits Rivera at first base. 7 hits for Texas now. Rivera's got 3 of them. And the home run in this inning by Adolis Garcia up the berm in right center. Foul ball, strike 1. In the inning, Rob Refsnyder against Cody Heyer got a fastball away, went with it, and doubled into the corner and right. Matt Duffy drew a walk. Heineman rolled into a 5-4-3 double play, well turned with Larry Garcia on the pivot. Then Garcia homer to right center, scoring Refsnyder ahead of him. And Rivera, a nice polite single into right. Now Mitchell in against Mathis. 1 strike to count. Rivera off first. Easy play for Tim Anderson. He shovels it to Garcia, and that's it. 6-4. So for Mitchell, he comes in and takes him 2 pitches to finish the inning. The Rangers do extend their lead. 2 runs, 3 hits, no errors, and they leave 1 to the bottom of the 6th inning. And Jose Leclerc, who finished the 5th inning, where Mike Minor, the veteran starter, did a very, very good job today. And there are some changes in the works. The new second baseman is Andy Ibanez.
Acosta's at third base.
Yeah, he's not on that sheet they gave us, but there you go. Matt Duffy apparently done for the day. And those are the only changes that we see. Second base, third, and then Leclerc, as you mentioned, stays in. Tim Anderson leads things off, trying to bunt his way on. Takes a strike, 0-1. 1 strike to count.
White Sox extending their veterans today. In fact, Ricky was saying a couple of days ago they're going to get more innings now and back-to-back games as we get close to opening day.
That's low. Tim's 0 for 2. Grounded to short. Reached on a throwing error, but a shortstop, Isaiah Kiner-Falefa, in the 3rd inning. Sox having a really good spring, but today Texas has bottled them up to this point. Ball 2.
You know, putting our lineups in before the game, a real oddity. The first 3 batters the White Sox had in the lineup today, Anderson, Moncada, and Abreu, each hit 208 coming into the game. You rarely see that. Exact same number. Exact number. Redundant.
Try to get that hanging breaking ball and foul it back. 2 balls and 2 strikes.
My English teacher to be on me. Exact number.
Don't want to be redundant.
No.
Or repetitious.
Exact same number. It's about as bad as it gets.
Now the 2-2. Timmy fights that one off. 2 balls and 2 strikes it remains.
And coming up in the top of the inning, we're going to have Scott Merkin's comments, MLB.com. He's been at the White Sox a long, long time. And his predictions on the White Sox prospects.
Looking forward to that. Very astute observer, Mr. Merkin. Here's the 2-2 to Tim Anderson, and he fouls it away. Go to third base dugout. The new third baseman is Sherton Apostel.
It was close enough.
Well, I don't know if your English teacher would agree to that, but okay.
I had 1 letter off.
There you go. The 2-2 pitch now. Outside. 97. Missed a little bit away. 3-2. There's Timmy. Yohan Moncada. Jose Abreu scheduled to come up after this. Sox just 3 hits so far, and only 1 man past second base in the game to this point. Now the payoff to Tim Anderson. Leclerc deals, and that's a foul ball off to the right. Came right after him with a fastball at 95. 3-2.
So tough outing for Cody Heyer. Gave up his first runs of the Cactus League, couple of runs, and won 2/3 of an inning.
Anderson chased a pitch that appeared to be very far outside. So Leclerc gets his 2nd strikeout. And the batter, Yohan Moncada, who was 0 for 2.
Single by Grandal in the 2nd. Single by Abreu in the 4th, and then a double by Garcia. That's been it for the White Sox. As Russ mentioned, 3 hits. Each team with 1 error. Nice crowd here on a hazy, cloudy afternoon.
Pitch outside, ball 1. The first one of these we've had for the webcast, at least.
We got the first webcast rained out. First opening day, but this was in danger for a while.
When I say we, I mean you and I, of course.
Yes.
Pitch pull foul outside first. 1-1 on Yohan Moncada, who flied to center and then struck out the 2 at-bats he had against the starter Mike Minor, who's now batting left-handed for the first time today.
We had 3 in a row here on the webcast. We'll take a little break here. Let's see, we're back on the 14th against the Dodgers.
1-1. Good off-speed pitch. 1-2.
We have Milwaukee on the 17th and wrap it up against the Indians on the 19th here on the webcast. That's a night game.
Ball and 2 strikes. Jose Abreu on deck. Leclerc's 1-2. Got him. He had the off-speed pitch for strike 2. Comes back with a 96-mile-an-hour heater to put him away. So he struck out 3 in a row now, including 2 in this inning. And here's Jose Abreu, who is 1 for 2. Grounded to short, and he ripped one inside third, opening up the 4th against Minor. And it hit the low padded fence that juts out toward fair territory and caromed right to the waiting glove of Adolis Garcia, which held him to a single. Type of ball, normally an extra base hit. Inside, ball one. The aforementioned Grandal would be next if Jose gets aboard and keeps things rolling here. 1 ball and no strikes. Ball 2.
So Leclerc came in, gave up a ringing double to Larry Garcia up against the track there, a wall on the 410 mark. Since then, he's been lights out. 3 strikeouts. Well, he's 2-0 here for Jose, who can ride one out anytime, any place.
Sox bullpen really shining yesterday in a game against the Reds, in the Mercedes 11th hour home run got the Sox a tie. 2-1 now on Jose Abreu. And the Sox are down 6-0 in this game. We're in the 6th inning, but again, as we said, from the 2nd inning on, anything that happens now is almost inconsequential. Not that they don't want to win the game, of course they do, but Michael Kopech, first game since 2018 coming back from Tommy John surgery, looked outstanding. The 2-1, 3-1.
He did, boy, sensational outing, and bears repeating, no runs, 11 pitches, mostly fastballs. The top one, 101 miles an hour, 3 up, 3 down. Nice outing.
3-1. Big swing, 3-2.
And Lucas Giolito is scheduled to go tomorrow. Should be extended a little bit. He only worked 1 inning. And his debut against the Cubs looked very good at the Mesa. We saw that game. I think he hit a guy, and that was about it. 3 outs. So Lucas on the slab tomorrow against Colorado on the road.
Payoff pitch. Went with a 3-2 breaking ball, and Jose deposits it in the third base dugout. Some heads ducking over there. 3-2. Sox made the best contact in the 4th inning against Minor. That base hit inside third by Abreu. Grandal stung one over 400 feet, and Eli White made a great catch. Bumped into the fence in center, and Jimenez hit a retro rocket snagged by Greg Bird, who stomped on the bag for a double play. That's a high foul to the right. Mathis out of room.
You see the hazy skies. The lights got turned on, I think, in the 1st or 2nd inning of this ball game, as the cloudy skies linger here. But it's very warm. It's a nice day overall. Better than expected, that's for sure.
3-2. Mathis setting up. Here's the next one. Fastball challenged him, and that trickles toward the third base dugout. Still 3-2.
Yeah, Russ, we were talking about these. You got a good point before the game. If there is any rain in this game, they won't wait long, because you don't want to get a guy injured in a spring training game.
Not at all. Now, of course, now it's in the hands of the umpires, but yeah.
You know what? Well, they won't. The reserves will be in there.
Right.
Whatever, yeah.
Right. 3-2. Leclerc uncoils, and here he comes. Another foul ball. The battle continues.
Every injury is bad, but there's nothing worse than a freak injury in training camp.
Oh, yeah.
Any sport, football or baseball, whatever.
Yeah, no team wants to have a star player or a promising player hurt at any time, of course, but especially in the spring, because fans back home will look and go, well, why are we even out there when the grass is wet? The spring training game. Here's the 3-2, and Abreu takes it inside, and Leclerc thought he had a strike, but it's ball 4, and that's a pretty good at bat for Abreu, and it keeps the inning going for Yasmani Grandal.
Chicago Bulls had a coach, Tom Thibodeau, who played his players really late in games when they were up by 20, and a couple of guys got nicked up and hurt, and he was questioned a lot. Derrick Rose among them, who was in a game late, got hurt one time. So you don't want to take chances with your star players, that's for sure.
Gavin Sheets goes in a run for Abreu, so Jose ends the day 1 for 2 with a single and a walk. And Sheets will go in and play first when the next inning rolls around. Grandal, big swing, fouls it back, strike one. Well, Grandal hitting everything hard, including yesterday the double and the home run against the Reds, and today he has singled and against Minor, then he drove one to deep center, and Eli White made a terrific catch and bumped into that green padded wall out there. So Grandal really swinging the bat very well. He missed that one, 0-2.
Grandal's first start this year in the Cactus League came at Mesa against the Cubs. Struck out swinging and looking. Took a walk and left the game. Didn't look too good, but ever since then he has been on everything.
The 0-2. That's a nice curveball right there by Leclerc. That thing broke by the way of Tucson. So that's a nice pitch, and he strikes out the side in the 6th. No runs, hits, or errors. 1 left at the end of 6. Texas 6 and the Sox nothing. Inning, which as far as the Sox are concerned, was the most important inning because of the return, the long-awaited return of Michael Kopech, who threw 11 pitches, dazzled with several pitches that hit triple digits, and got all 3 men out, recording 2 groundouts and a strikeout. So the Sox down 6-0, but regardless of the outcome, they can feel good about Kopech's inning, certainly. And now the Sox make changes here. Russ Langer along with Mr. Rich King, the new catcher, Zach Collins at first base, Gavin Sheets. Gavin ran for Jose Abreu when Jose walked a moment ago. He stays in the game at first. The new shortstop, Danny Mendick, with Tim Anderson taking the rest of the day off. Chesler Cuthbert at third, where Yoan Moncada had been. There's ball 1 to Letty Taveras, who's getting his first at bat now. This is the slot where Eli White was. Taveras, the new center fielder. Left-handed batter, takes a strike, 1-1.
And so as you watch the Rangers bat here in the top of the inning, we'll focus again on our feature for the later in the game. Scott Merkin, the veteran beat writer for MLB.com. For this pitch. This guy's been around for a long time. He's very astute, very knowledgeable. So let's get his take on the predictions for the 2020 White Sox. Scott Merkin.
I think if you look first at the AL Central right now, just entering the season, they'd probably be the 3rd team there. I think the Twins, 101 wins last year. Josh Donaldson was a huge addition for that team, and even if they come down a little bit, they're still the favorite. Cleveland, I think it all depends on their health, and if their health influences the direction they're going in. I read that Lindor is called off contract extension talks right now, so does that make him someone who could be moved? But I think there's a much closer gap now between the first 2 and the White Sox, who were 3rd. Last year it was 1-2, and then Sox are in the middle, and then Tigers and Royals are way down.
So you see a run for the wild card by the White Sox?
I think there's a run for anything. I think also, excuse me, it's not a bad season if they finish with 84 to 86 wins and don't make the playoffs. I think anything's possible. I think you can make that jump. People should remember this team was, if I think I have the record right, 43-45 at the All-Star break last year. They beat the Cubs in the first half, and Tim Anderson had an injury. Eloy Jimenez got hurt like the 4th game into the second half, and they started 4-16, and that was the end of it. Yeah. So this team wasn't, exactly atrocious last year. They were making strides there, but it all depends on the pitching and how the younger core develops. But yeah, I definitely think they can make a run this year.
And Fonda, your take on the American League overall? The Yankees banged up once again. The Astros, of course, going through what they're going through this year. How do you see things boiling down in terms of the top teams?
Yeah, it's interesting because the Justin Verlander situation yesterday, where he said it's unlikely, or it'd take a miracle, I think was his quote. Not a miracle, it'd be very unlikely to make it for opening day, and you wonder how that's going to affect him. The Astros are going to go through a lot of interesting situations this year because of what's happened. Yeah, I think still the Yankees are the best team, even though their pitching is down to basically 2 starters right now, because Severino's out for the year, Paxton is hurt, and then Herman is not pitching right now. So, that'll be interesting. But they have a great young core. They have guys in the system, and they have the wherewithal to go get someone if they need it. So, yeah, but I think it's pretty wide open. I don't know if there's one team that you would say is the Rays are very good. The A's are very good, too. I'm not trying to rhyme there. They both are good, though. So I think it's open. I think any team, and I think rightfully so, kind of like in the National League, people are looking at the Reds. People are looking at the White Sox, rightfully so, as a team that could be, the surprise. And we've seen it. The Twins went from 78 to 101. The Cubs in 14 went from 73 to 97 in 2015 and got to the LCS. So anything is possible in this day and age.
Okay, Scott Merkin, his predictions about the White Sox in the American League, and a quick inning here, Russ.
Indeed. Brian Mitchell, a good inning. He got Tavares to fly out. And shortstop Connor Falefa popped out to Larry Garcia. Greg Bird grounds out to the new shortstop Danny Mendick, 6'3". He's playing to the right of second because of the shift. We've reached the 7th inning stretch to the bottom of the 7th. 6-0 Texas.
Nice warm temperature. White Sox down this game, but Jorge Rodriguez coming in, a 6'1", 200-pounder for the Rangers, new pitcher from Dominican Republic. 24 years old.
Spells it Joely.
Joely.
6'1", 200-pounder.
And let's see, 2016 with the Phillies, 17 with the Phillies. Been a while in the major leagues for him. But he comes on here, a left-hander, to face Eloy Jimenez.
The reason he has been in the big leagues for a while, he spent most of the last 2 years over in Japan pitching for the Chinichi Dragons. Back stateside to face Eloy Jimenez. Fastball outside, ball 1 at 94. Eloy 0 for 2 today. Came into camp to this game hitting .250 in camp. Grounded to short, and he hit a bullet into a double play. Line drive caught by Greg Bird, who stepped on the bag to double off Jose Abreu in the 4th. Ball dribble foul. 1-1.
We are 2/3 through our writers. Coming up, Lamont Pope of the Chicago Tribune in the next half inning. We'll look at his predictions. Thanks to Scott and Daryl for their thoughts on the upcoming season. But don't hold them to it, because these predictions are rough. I've done it for years, and you look back and you wonder why you said what you said sometimes.
Ground ball at the bag at third, and Shertin Apostel, the man from Curacao, throws out Jimenez. 1 out in that bounding ball down the line, and Andrew Vaughn, who has flied out and struck out, coming up now.
There's a story that talk about predictions. Jim Leland, of course, a very fine manager, which coach, there's a replay on that play, but White Sox coach and later a great big league manager. He was having lunch with a White Sox official one year.
Ball 1.
And told the official, look, you guys have the best bullpen in the majors. You guys are going to really nail it shut this year with that bullpen. It was the worst bullpen of the year at the end of the season, so you never know.
1-1.
And Jim Leland, of course, you couldn't get a better, more knowledgeable baseball man. So, predictions are what they're worth. They're fun. Fans enjoy hearing them, so we present them to you.
1 ball to 1 strike. I mean, it's just so hard when you have a game like this. There's so many surprises during the course of 162 games. Pitch outside, 2-1. I mean, when you look at the Washington Nationals record going into early May last year, if anyone had said they're going to win the World Series, huh? What?
Great point, Russ. Great point.
Take them away.
Yep.
Here's the 2-1. 3-1. You talk about stumbling out of the starting gate. They had all kinds of a myriad of problems, and obviously they hit a new gear late and they won.
We were educated by the late Jim Finks, one of the great sports analysts and, of course, GMs of all time. But we used to every year go over the football schedule for the Bears and put wins and losses. He used to laugh at us for a good reason.
Ball 4.
And we'd explain, this 4th game against San Francisco, is you don't know by the 4th game if San Francisco is going to have half his team out, or who's playing well, who's not. So why do you waste time doing it?
Yeah, indeed.
But that's what fans do it, so we do it.
Oh, of course, now ever since the wild card came in, and now baseball has adjusted things. So you've got the 2 wild cards playing the 1 game against each other, and you got it's a lot of excitement, a lot of fun and excitement and surprises all the way through. That's half the fun. Luis Robert 0 for 2, 2 fly balls to right, pitch inside, ball 1. Half the fun is trying to figure out and just follow along and see who's going to do what.
Well, it's like handicapping. If you get horse racing, you go over the sheet and figure things out and put your money down.
Yeah, a lot like that.
Both times you lose it.
New catcher Blake Swihart, by the way, And the 1-0. Oh, Luis tried to take that pitch the other way, and he missed it. 1-1.
Did you ever get a lesson in horse handicapping? I had a guy who taught me.
Never.
It's just the most involved. You know, you look at their workout ratio and everything, and you know, it's unbelievable what they go through to make a prediction.
Kiner Falafel to second, and that's it as they get the sliding Vaughn. So Isaiah Kiner Falafel gets that little bounding ball. 6-4 on the force play, and that little chopper. Luis Robert aboard. And now Larry Garcia has grounded out and doubled off the wall in center against Leclerc. Leclerc won an inning in the third, no runs, a hit. The double by Garcia, who's up now. Walk one, struck out four. Luis Basabe, who has been taking over for Luis Robert in many of these games, is taking over for him again. Pinch running over at first, and no doubt will take over in center field when the next inning rolls around. There's a shot, and it hits off of Rodriguez. The throw goes to second, and they get him. Now that is some kind of a play right there. Andy Ibanez on the deflection. We're going to see it again. This is some kind of play.
Incredible reaction. Hit the mound, goes the other way, and just really makes a nice reaction and gets it. That ball hit the pitching rubber, it appeared, and a nice play by the Rangers.
Inning is over. No runs, hits, errors, one left, and we head to the eighth now. Rangers 6 and the Sox nothing. Friends, along with Rich King, Russ Langer here in Glendale. Texas Rangers trying to go 12-7 in the spring, leading 6-0 into the eighth inning. And Brian Mitchell still out there on the mound. He's gone a perfect inning in the third so far. They want him to work at least into the eighth. And the Sox make some other changes as Rob Refsnyder, who's had a 1-for-3 day going, takes high ball one. He's reached on an error and scored, flat out. Then he opened the sixth inning against Cody Hire with a double to right. There's Mitchell. And eventually scored on the home run by Adolis Garcia. Other changes for the Sox. Pitch outside 1-1. Zach Collins in catching, and the new second baseman is Ramon Torres, spelling Larry Garcia. Garcia goes 1-for-3 today with a double, pitch high. 2-1, and we mentioned Chesler Cuthbert earlier at third. Jacob Brugman goes in the game in left to replace Eloy Jimenez, and as expected, Luis Basabe stays in the game in center where Luis Robert had been. 3-1 on Refsnyder.
Okay, Russ, the last of our beat writers, Lamont Pope of the Chicago Tribune, takes a look at the White Sox, where they shape up in 2020.
Well, in the Central, I'd say, I mean, they're going to be probably second or third. The offseason moves that they're able to make, adding Yasmani Grandal, adding two quality pitchers in Dallas Keuchel and Gio Gonzalez, plus, getting that designated hitter help in Edwin Encarnacion. I think that those are moves that are going to help them get to that next level. I still think the Twins are probably going to be favored to win the Central. They return most of their power. I don't know if they're going to hit as many home runs as they did last year. I mean, that's a lot, yeah. But I think that I think the White Sox are going to be there to be able to play some really important games in September.
Now, in terms of the American League, the Yankees are all banged up again, and you've got, of course, Houston's going to have a tough year. How do you think that builds on the American League? Yeah, I mean, that's going to be really interesting to watch. I mean, I think the Yankees at the end of the day are still going to be there, still the favorite to win the East. And I would probably still give the edge to the Astros in the West. The A's are going to be fantastic. The Rays in the East are going to be really good as well. And so those are going to be the two teams that are going to be continuing to fight for that, and also fight for the wild card when we talk again about the White Sox as well. You're saying White Sox possibly wild card? Well, I mean, it's going to be a lot that they have to do. Again, I would probably say the A's and the Rays are the two teams that are probably going to be favored, and the Angels are going to be a little bit improved. Add a manager in Joe Madden, someone who wherever he goes, he wins, and but the White Sox are going to be in the mix as for sure. No question, Lamont is right. The A's going to be tough. They're good at the corners with Chapman and Olsen. They are loaded. They got good pitching. So we'll see what happens.
Apostle drives one to left. Over to get it is Brugman. Refsnyder to third base on a double by Chertel Apostle in his first at bat. He got a pitch out over the plate and really turned on it. So the young man from Curacao, who was in the low minors last year, hits a double right there. He did hit 19 home runs last year. Here it is.
Shot. Mitchell still in there, ripped down the line there for a double, and the Rangers back in action. Looks like a second and third, and nobody out to start the inning. Thanks to Lamont Pope for his thoughts on the White Sox in 2020.
So you heard all three of the writers
Yep. They all say the Sox will be in the mix, and we, of course, we're in this booth. We have them in the playoffs. At least I do.
Okay, here's Heineman. Sox pull the infield in. Heineman has walked and scored, single, stolen a base and scored, and grounded into a double play against Cody Heyer last time. He takes a strike 0-1.
You know, once you get in the playoffs, even as a wild card, it's been proven many, many times, you can do it, and you get hot at the right time. So get in there and see what happens. It'll be a wonderful, wonderful story.
There's the 0-1. Shallow right, Torres going out. Engel has the better angle coming in. Tried that 3 times. And the throw comes in. So, 1 out. And now, Adolis Garcia, who struck out, flied out, and did a 2-run home run. Coming up now. That's a big out. 1 down. The runners remain at second and third. The infield will remain in.
What they have to do, Russ, is look back to 2005 when the White Sox were not expected to do anything and wind up winning the World Series. That can happen, and that's why predictions are meaningless at this time of the year, although they're fun. So once you get in, you roll from there.
You can look almost year by year, Rich. There's a nice breaking ball for a strike, 0-1 to Garcia. I mean, you mentioned the Sox in 05. And in 06, you had the Detroit in there. You had set in 2007. I don't know anybody who predicted the Rockies would go to the World Series. In 2008, Tampa, really? After their history? And it goes on from there. Pitch low, 1 ball and 1 strike. And then the Giants, a couple of times they won, they weren't predicted to do that well. The Kansas City Royals had been doormats for so long. They went to the World Series back-to-back years, 2014 and 2015.
But I think the writers had it nailed. I know the first one, Darryl said about the pitching. If you have this offense is going to score runs. To me, this is one of the better lineups, if not the best in baseball. Potentially, it's all on paper now, of course. But the guys they got in there are 300 hitters, all-stars. They got 2 great all-star catchers. It's a question of whether the pitching can be there, and that you don't know. I think it will be, but they make the playoffs hot. Anything can happen.
Mitchell working on Garcia. Overthrew that one. Here comes Refsnyder. Collins fires too late. Wild pitch. Refsnyder scores. Apostle to third. It is 7-0 Texas. And they count 2-2 on Adolis Garcia.
But the beat writers, well-respected guys. You know, you look at those guys, and I've, of course, been in the business a long time. They work so hard. I mean, I don't think fans realize it. They got to be there before the game and pick up tidbits. And now with these computers and these all these Facebook stuff they're putting out, and Twitter, they work even harder.
Line to center. Basabe's got it. Tagging and scoring is Sertel Apostle. A sacrifice fly by Garcia, his 3rd RBI, 8-0 Texas.
Looked like a bit of a knuckleball. They did for a while, but Basabe hung in there and caught it for the 2nd out. But then plus after the game, these guys are there, so some of the night games, sometimes 1 o'clock in the morning. So it's a long, long process. They enjoy their jobs. Obviously, it's a great job, but they do work hard, and they're very knowledgeable about the teams and about the entire other teams too in baseball. We thank them very much.
Absolutely. Good to hear from all of them. Andy Ibanez getting his first chance to hit. And Yadiel Rivera, 3 for 3. Just appealed to third. Yeah. I think they're trying to say that Apostle left too soon, but the decision was he did not leave too soon, so the run is on the board. 8-0. 1-0.
Sox just 3 hits. The Rangers have 8 hits. I think, Rush, you summed this game up in the first inning pretty well.
Yeah.
Thank goodness Kopech pitched.
1-1. Yeah, after that, it's gravy.
It's been uneventful. 8-0.
Yeah.
4,150, 4151 here in attendance.
Well hit, but foul. 1-2 on Andy Ibanez.
Yeah, but the good news is we got the game in, and Kopech pitched well, so you go home happy, even losing 8-0. We can always say that in spring training.
Ball and 2 strikes. This is the first webcast we've had where the game really wasn't close this late in the game. Certainly, the breaking ball's high. 2-2, but again, a large silver lining. Kopech performance.
We'll see what Lucas Giolita can do tomorrow in his extended outing.
2-2. Ibanez bangs that into center for a base hit. Sabe scoops it and gets it back in. Second hit of the inning, and the second hit since Mitchell came into the game. So Blake Swihart is the new hitter, but he's not going to approach the plate yet because Rick Renteria wants a new arm, looks like.
Well, Swihart's the guy that beat Mitchell in that game and surprised with the home run I mentioned in the first pitch. So good thing that Mitchell won't have to face him. He's out of the game. And a new pitcher for the White Sox is they're going to Cody Medeiros in the game for the White Sox. And
Cody with a K, K-O-D-I, Medeiros, M-E-D-E-I-R-O-S.
Yeah, here's the log, his fourth game for the White Sox in the camp here. 2.2 innings pitched, 3 hits, 1 walk, 1 strikeout, no runs off of him. As Medeiros comes in, is trying to mop things up here, keep this Rangers off the board more. They've already scored 2 in this inning, some shots in this inning, and Swihart up there with that home run bat. So they got Mitchell out of there for left-hander Cody Medeiros.
And again, Swihart get his first at bat here. Jeff Mathis was 1 for 3 with a 2-run single. And with Ibanez getting that hit, that means the number 8 slot, 4 for 4 today for the Rangers, as Yadiel Rivera began at second base and 3 for 3 with a couple of RBIs. And as Cody warms up right here.
Cody working on his stamina in camp, and he told me that last year he was not happy with the way his workout program was going. He notched it up a little bit this year, trying to get stronger and better, and that's been his big goal in camp. As he comes in here, hopefully he wraps it up pretty well against the Rangers. Swihart coming up.
Here we go. Swihart, former Red Sox catcher, and had some time with the Diamondbacks last year. Making his way to home plate right now. An interesting selection of uniform number for Swihart.
Number 0?
0.
0. It wasn't a 0 against Mitchell, and surprise, he really ripped a shot on that berm out there to win the game. Very first pitch. If the Sox had come back, fought their way back to a 6-6 tie.
Swihart's first at bat. Swihart lives here. He was born in Bedford, Texas, but a Phoenix guy now. The pitch is ball 1. Cody Medeiros, and his dad, Swihart's dad, Arlen, played basketball at Southern Illinois in Carbondale for the Salukis. As a bounding ball foul. But he had some time with the Red Sox, including 2018 when they won the whole thing. He got into 82 games with him, hitting .229 with 3 home runs, and the Red Sox, a dominant year for them, and beat the LA Dodgers in 5 games in the World Series. Now, new home for him, the Texas Rangers. Pitch is high, 1-2, 8-0 Texas. We're in the 8th.
And Cody Medeiros, Hilo, Hawaii, 23 years old. Drafted by Milwaukee in the first round back in 2014.
That one gets away on strike 3. Collins fires it down to Gavin Sheets to complete the strikeout. Good play by Zach Collins. The strikeout goes 2-3. Medeiros comes in and finishes the inning. 2 runs do score, however, for the Rangers in the inning. 2 hits, no errors. They leave 1. We head to the bottom of the 8th. Texas 8 and the Sox 9 for much of the day, but the forecast said we'd get some more pretty soon, but so far it's been okay. Rangers are loving it, leading 8-0, but again, the Sox, they can hang their hat on something that to them is far more important than the final score of this game, which is the inning by Michael Kopech in the first. Russ Langer and Rich King. New pitcher is the former Philly and a fellow who was with the Angels last year, 33-year-old Luis Garcia. Going to face Adam Engel, who's been in there the whole way. Then Danny Mendick will get his first at bat after Engel. Engel 0 for 2 with a pair of strikeouts, and Garcia's pitch is lifted to center. Tavares backing up, but appears to have a play as he grabs that one. Angled fairly deep straightaway center, one out, and here comes Danny Mendick.
Luis Garcia, as Russ mentioned, 33 years old from Dominican Republic, former Philly, and last year the Angels 2-1, 4.35 in 64 games. He finished 18 of those games. Here's Danny Mendick. White Sox trying to get on the board here at least in this game, down 8-0, which is 3 hits.
Mendick a 242 spring, no homers, 2 runs batted in. Played some infield, plays some left field. The pitch kicks away. Ball 1-0. 8-0 Rangers in the 8th. And Chesler Cuthbert has come out on deck. He's finishing at third for Yoan Moncada, and he'll bat next.
Garcia's been in a lot of games in the last 3 years. 66 in 2017, 59 in 18, and 64 last year with the Angels. Before that, his entire career was with the Phillies.
Here's a 1-0 to Danny Mendick. Again, same situation with the ball bouncing away. So the Sox really good potent offense throughout camp, but today shut down thus far on 3 hits. And Garcia trying to follow suit. Mike Minor, very good, 4 2/3. Last year's All-Star, 2 hits. Jose Leclerc inning and a third, no runs, a hit, 4 strikeouts. Willie Rodriguez chipped in with an inning, nothing across except for 1 walk. And Mendick takes a strike, 2-1.
Danny hitting 242 here in the camp. Nice start for him. He figures to make this club as a utility man. The expanded roster this year.
And the 2-1 from Luis Garcia. Again, that's too low. 3-1. Again, want to echo the sentiments expressed by Rich a little while ago. We had the 3 writers. Scott Merkin and company would really appreciate them taking time to visit with us and giving us their thoughts on the Sox possibilities for 2020. Those things will begin March 26th. Here's the 3-1 to Danny Mendick. That's ball 4, so Danny is aboard. Cuthbert comes up, and Gavin Sheets will come out on deck. And my only question is, you talk to those writers, but we know about your history, Rich. I want to know where your tape of Red Smith is.
I never knew Red Smith, never met Red Smith. Red Grange, I met Red Grange.
Yeah.
Talked to Red Grange. Ray Schalk, I admit to that. I met Ray Schalk, you know. But that was when I was 10 years old, Russ. That was a, that was a very young man. Schalk lived till 1970, and he was at that clinic I mentioned near the ballpark with the kids, and he was a coach.
Strike 1.
It was funny at the time too. When you're a kid, you don't know. I met Ray Schalk. They announced who he was, and I did go home though and look it up. He was an All-Star Hall of Fame catcher.
1 strike to count. Outside.
And a very famous figure in the movie about the scandal in 1919. Schalk was one of the guys not taking part.
Right.
I rated the pitchers for throwing bad pitches and making errors.
Right, that was 8 men out.
Yeah,
1 ball and 1 strike to count. That's a base hit. A little too hot for certain Apostle to handle. Over to get it is Garcia. As the throw comes into third, not in time. That was close. But Mendick just got there before the throw of Garcia, and it's a double for Chesler Cuthbert.
That ball was really nailed. It's off the third baseman's glove. There's a relay. Almost got him in the leg, but he's in there. And the White Sox mentioned trying to crack at least the run column here. 2nd and 3rd, and 1 out.
All right, here's Sheets. Big Gavin finishing at first today for Jose Abreu. Of course, we've talked about it before in camp. His dad, Larry Sheets, major leaguer. Good power, big left-handed hitting first baseman, DH, mostly with Baltimore. Here now is the look. 2nd and 3rd, 1 out. Sox with 4 hits, trying to crack the scoreboard for the first time in this game. Up and away, ball 1. Zach Collins on deck. 1-1. Gavin waiting on Luis Garcia. $4,151 paid here today. The 1-1. Good off-speed pitch, and he swung early. 1-2. Gotten a little darker here now, so we'll see if the prediction is correct. The rain does return here in a little while. 1-2 strikes on Gavin Sheets. Garcia taking his time, looking at Swihart. Major shift in the infield. Around to the right. Here's the 1-2. Garcia lets it go. Deep center. Tavares has a play doh, and now he makes that catch. More than deep enough for Mendick to score. Holding at second is Cuthbert, and that means that the Sox are on the board, and a little, maybe a little Bronx cheer here from the folks.
Well, the fans have hung in there for a while here. You know, the rain was predicted for 4 o'clock. It's nearing 4 o'clock. It's 10 minutes away. See what happens if they're accurate. But right now the skies doesn't appear to be imminent rain anyway, so we'll get this baby in. But the Sox on the board. How about that? 4 hits now as they score here in the 8th.
Zach Collins with Texas now up 8-1. First at bat of the day. Grandal went 1 for 3 with a single and a long drive to center. And the Rangers starting center fielder Eli White with a terrific play to rob him of extra bases. There's ball 1 to Zach Collins. And Collins has made a lot of solid contact this spring.
He's had a good one. And mentioned he's in a tough spot being behind 2 all-star catchers. But he's giving it his all and really showing some things to the coaches and to Ricky Renteria.
Jacob Brugman would be next. The 1-0. Zach hits that one right through the right side. Shift or no shift. And in to score is Cuthbert. And it's now an 8-2 game. Collins continues to hit the ball well. You talk about a seeing eye base hit right between 2 diving Ranger infielders.
Did a great job with the bat. No, there's a replay. Pitch he golfed in there, got in there for the right field for a base hit. Collins began hitting 294, so he's having a great camp. That's his 6th RBI, and he's really impressing a lot of people here in Glendale.
All right, first at bat for Jacob Brugman in left field where Jimenez began the game. Eloy 0 for 3 in this game. Waves at that one, strike 1.
Brugman's got some power at a home run here in the Cactus League earlier in the camp.
And now, with all kinds of changes taking place, Dan Palka comes out on deck. He would hit for Vaughn if Brugman can get on. There's a strike. Jacob thoroughly displeased with the call based on body language. 0-2. The Sox with their first runs here. A walk, a double, sacrifice fly, and a run-scoring single. 1-2.
You were talking earlier, Russ, about famous figures of people like Red Grange, who played in the 1920s, and he lived a long time, Red. And when I was in the business as a sportscaster in Chicago, he died, and I went in got the thing on the wires. Let's see if there's pitch. And some of the young people in the newsroom did not know who he was. These are sports people. So you live so long, sometimes you outlive your fame. This guy was a tremendous icon of the 1920s, in there with Babe Ruth and Jack Dempsey and the great names. One of the great figures and a great person. And Bray Chicago, when I was growing up, he used to have a TV show in Chicago with Jack Brickhouse.
Fouled away. 1-2. And to some degree, the sense of history gets lost.
I know,
throughout the
and
generations.
people forget about it, and and nowadays they don't teach history much anymore. So even American history is forgotten, which is pretty dangerous, I think.
1-2. Garcia. Collins at first not being held on in an 8-2 game in the 8th, and that one's in the dirt to the backstop. Swihart has to chase that wild pitch. Now 2-2. Down to second goes Zach Collins. I remember the Dodgers and Cleveland made a trade. The Dodgers got a pitcher whose name is not important, guy who was trying to make it in the big leagues. And he was pitching in the backfields at Vero Beach, warming up. Sandy Koufax, roving instructor, came over and was showing him a couple things. And he looked right at Sandy Koufax and he said, "That may have been the way you did it back in your day, but things are different now." Mr. Koufax, not a word, handed the ball to him and walked away. And that was that.
Sure, why not?
Swing and a miss, strike 3. Sox get their first runs, 2 runs, 2 hits, 1 left. To the 9th inning, Texas 8, Sox 2. Early 8th when they started up to get 2. And Cody Medeiros, who struck out Blake Swihart to finish the 8th, will be asked to pitch the 9th to Letty Tavares. And then the 2 and 3 hitters, Russ Langer here, along with Rich King.
Under darkening skies as the rain may filter in here eventually in the 4th inning. Letty Tavares leads it off for the Rangers. His second at bat in this game, flat out in his first one.
So, Medeiros, it's been Kopech, Drew Anderson, Carson Fulmer, Cody Heyer. Foul ball, strike 1.
You know, Russ,
Brian Mitchell.
we're talking about history in the previous inning about great figures in sports or in any form of life, really. And
Fouled away, 2 strikes.
it's one thing not to know who Red Grange is. It's another thing not to know who Franklin Delano Roosevelt is. And with a lack of history knowledge, you can't. It's unbelievable to me. You talk to people, they have no idea who some of these people are. And then, of course, if you read about history, you learn a lot and you don't repeat the mistakes. That's obvious. So it's a very dangerous situation not to look back. But in baseball, in this sport, you miss everything about the glory of the game. There were some great figures and great stories. We try to relate them here on the show. We've been around for a while. And interesting people. And you learn a lot in the course of life. And if you don't study that, you don't know it.
1-2. Plus, when it comes to this particular game of baseball, it's just such a rich history and so many fun and colorful characters and great stories of comebacks and underdogs who did well and surprises and amazing things. I mean, that's why they've made movie after movie out of many of these situations. That one missed low, 2-2.
Yeah, Field of Dreams is outstanding. That pointed that out. Great, the great history of the game, what it means to America. And despite all its issues with the latest thing, this cheating thing with the Astros, it survives year after year. Survives some really rough shots.
Strike 3 on Tavares. 1 out. Medeiros has been in and has faced 2 hitters and struck both of them out. And the fellow has been at shortstop since the beginning. Isaiah Falefa, who's grounded out, hit into a force play, flat out and popped up. Coming up now, 8-0 Texas in the 9th. And you mentioned it. People have talked about that we've had doomsayers for the last 100 years. In the 20s, it was, the betting scandal,
Yep.
that's going to ruin it. No, swing and a miss, strike 1. In the 30s, the Depression, that'll kill it, didn't kill it. 40s, World War II, nope, didn't kill it.
Yep.
In the 50s, what happened? The Athletics moved from Philadelphia to Kansas City.
Dodgers.
The Braves moved from Boston to Milwaukee. The Dodgers moved. The Giants moved. The Browns moved from St. Louis to Baltimore. And what did people say? Look at all the cities that can't afford, they don't support their teams. The game is that's it. No, it survived. In the 60s, they said expansion would kill it. Nope. In the 70s, free agency would kill it. Nope. In the 80s and 90s, strikes. Nope. Steroids. Nope. Somehow the game moves on.
Well, back in the days, the early days, gambling was rampant. And the umpires were taking bribes. Everything was happening. It still survived.
Toward the left field corner for Brugman, and he's got to play it into the corner. And so, Falefa gets his first hit. He's 1 for 5 with that double first hit off Medeiros. And Greg Bird, who also has been in there the whole way for the Rangers, will come up and he'll try to get his first hit. The ball hooked into the corner.
And add to that, Russ, a great point. Add to that the work stoppages. 94, before that, all the strikes and sit-outs and everything. And it still came back. 94 was a rough one because when you have the World Series canceled, that's major. And it came back. It took a while. It took a couple of years, but it came back big time. And it's always survived. And it will survive this Astros thing, needless to say.
That You mentioned 94, and it's bad enough to erase the World Series. And it really, one of the unfortunate things was it did unbelievable damage to the one franchise, Montreal. Pitch high, ball 1-0. And the 94 Expo team was amazingly talented.
Right.
And they just were loaded. And that's a shame. We'll never know what would have happened.
We talked about the White Sox, too, in that year, 94. They were one game up in August when it ended. They could have done some damage that year and maybe made it all the way.
Check swing to third. Cuthbert's got it by the bag and throws out Bird. Bird 0 for 5, 2 outs.
They were having a great year. Frank Thomas, Julio Franco was on that team. The pitching was good, and all of a sudden it ended. But baseball always has a way of coming back. But you're right. You're right, though. You got to enjoy the history of the game.
There's Refsnyder. He scored 3 times, been on a walk, been on an error, and it doubled. Here's the pitch. Fouled away, strike 1. 0-1.
One time I interviewed, talk about interviews, again, going back a ways, Happy Chandler, who was the commissioner.
Wow.
Did
you get Kennesaw Mountain Landis, too?
We did a great interview. We had him on the radio, obviously after he got out of office later in his life. What a great, one of the best interviews you'll ever hear. He had that southern accent, talked obviously like a politician, but he was telling a story about Leo DeRocher. He suspended Leo, of course, for association with gambling one year. And according to Chandler, says, I suspended him, and, I ran into his wife, and the minute right after I suspended him, and she gave me a holy heck for it. She was all over me. What are you doing now? What are you killing them and this and that? And he said, I met her a year later after that, divorced. And she said, you knew you was an SOB all the time, didn't you?
That's toward the left field corner as well. Brugman is busy out there. A run scores, the throw to second base, and he's out. Good throw by Brugman down to Ramon Torres. So for Refsnyder, it is an RBI single scoring Kiner Falefa. Then he's thrown out 7-4, trying to stretch it into a double. 1 run scores on 2 hits, no errors, no one left. We go to the bottom of the 9th inning. The score now: Texas 9 to White Sox 2. Sox, but the big lefty Mike Flynn coming in now to try to just finish the ball game up for Texas, and he's going to face, first of all, a fellow who's finishing up in this slot for Andrew Vaughn. Mike Rodolfo is going to come in.
Yep.
And we haven't seen much of
No, only
Mike
7 games, Russ. Limited time for him. One of the young prospects for the White Sox, been hampered by injuries his entire minor league career. Hand injuries, whatever.
Big Brian Flynn, big lefty, delivers. It's a strike on 1. Talking about old sports writers, and one of the greatest of the 20th century was Grantland Rice. I'm surprised you missed him.
I missed him. Didn't interview him, no.
1-1, but he had so many great stories and great experiences, and all you got to do is look on the web and you find all kinds of things. But one of my favorite little nuggets from him, the 1-1 to Adolfo, and he swings and makes it 1-2. Shortly before Babe Ruth passed away, this is the early summer of 1948, Rice visited him and said, "Who's the best player you ever saw, Babe?" And he said, "You mean in the major leagues?" He said, "Not necessarily in the major leagues, anywhere." Strike 3 on Adolfo. He's out, 1 out. He said, "Well, if you're talking about anywhere, best player I ever saw was a shortstop in the Negro Leagues named Pop Lloyd." Rice said, "Tell me about him." In 1948, it just wasn't a whole lot.
Right.
A lot of it. You don't have the information superhighway like you have now. And if you go back and look and talk to the people who were around, they said this guy was unbelievable. But again, if it hadn't been for Grantland Rice, a lot of people might not have heard of him. Ball 1.
Right.
But apparently they played some exhibition games in Cuba, and Connie Mack was there, and he said, "Look, I'll just tell you one thing about this guy, Pop Lloyd. It's a strike 1-1. You put him and Honus Wagner in a burlap sack and close your eyes and pick one. You can't go wrong either way." Wow. Ty Cobb played in that series. He said, "You're an idiot if you hit the ball anywhere near this guy."
Yeah.
Here's the pitch, and Basabe lifts it to shallow center. And here comes Taveras, and he's looking up to make that catch. And there are 2 outs. But, it all points to journalism, sports journalism, and the things you can uncover with the right questions and approaching the right people.
That's right. You really can. And we're talking about Chandler, too, the interview we do at Happy. He said at one point, he said, my grandfather was a hero, was in the Civil War. He didn't say here, he's in the Civil War, the first Battle of Shiloh. And my question was, well, he must have been a hero. Then he says, no, matter of fact, he wasn't. He was shot in the heel running the other way.
Oh, my.
So those are the kinds of things you get out of those guys. But he was a freewheeling interview, and he just not afraid to say anything. Happy Chandler, who was a commissioner of baseball in the late 40s, right? I think it was.
Yes.
Yeah.
2-0. Oh. Rangers needed out to finish it. Flynn working on Torres, and the 2-0 is high. 3-0. And Luis Gonzalez, who went into right in the top of this inning, the ninth inning, to finish for Adam Engel, is on deck, but it's up to Torres to keep the game going. And the 3-0. Strike, 3-1. Well, that rain hasn't shown up yet.
We made it.
Yeah. Now, Torres awaits ball 4. So, Gonzalez will get a chance to hit right here. And Gonzalez has shown a quick bat in camp this spring.
Yeah, one of our games here, webcast Jim, as he had a walk-off base hit, a line shot to right field. The Sox, even the games they've lost, they've come back in, and so it's about eight or nine games they've made great comebacks. Need a big one today. They're 9-2 in the 2 out in the ninth inning, but they've had a good camp overall.
Luis settles in and fouls on away against the former Marlin and former Kansas City Royal, Brian Flynn, who's from Tulsa. He'll be 30 in April. There he is. 6'8", 245. Hello. One and one. Danny Mendick would be next. Two balls and a strike on Luis Gonzalez.
Rain in the forecast tomorrow again. More of a chance tomorrow than today. We're lucky to get this one in. The forecast was not too good. But Lico Giolito again scheduled to pitch tomorrow for the White Sox against the Rockies on the road.
3-1.
And the Sox are off the next day, so this rain's predicted for that day too, Thursday. So good thing they have a day off.
And the 3-1. Ball 4. So back-to-back walks. Now Mendick, who walked and scored in the 8th when he faced Luis Garcia, going to face Flynn now. 9-2 Texas. Flynn got the first 2 outs quickly, but he's walked a couple of guys. 5 walks issued by Texas pitching. Sox have also issued 5.
And the White Sox face the Cubs here in Glendale after beating them in Mesa. That's coming up on 13th on Friday.
That one gets away from Blake Swihart.
Sox won the first game 6-3, a very well played game in Mesa. And then our next webcast after today will be the Saturday game here against the Dodgers. It's a home game for the White Sox, even though they share the camp here. Wrapping up the week on Sunday at Seattle, which is in Peoria, Arizona.
1 ball and no strikes. Two no. Mike Minor, Jose Leclerc, Oeli Rodriguez, Luis Garcia, and Brian Flynn for Texas. For the White Sox, again, the big headline, Michael Kopech, sparkling inning in his return. There's a strike. And after Kopech, Drew Anderson, who's the pitcher of record right now. Carson Fulmer, Cody Heyer, Brian Mitchell, Cody Medeiros. To left. That's that. So Texas improves to 12-7 with a convincing 9-2 win today over the Sox. Sox fall to 10-7-2. For Texas, 9 runs, 10 hits, 1 error, leaving 4. For the Sox, 2 runs, 6 hits, and 1 error. And they left 8 men on base. 4,151 paid to see it. The game took just over 3 hours. And again, threatening skies. Sox are beaten soundly today, but as we've said throughout the broadcast, Rich, the big figure was Michael Kopech, because he was sparkling in his 1-inning first live hitters he's faced since 2018, coming back from Tommy John. Hit triple digits a few times and looked great.
Yep, 11 pitches, I counted them, 7 fastballs, I think 4 breaking pitches. The breaking pitch was very sharp, slider or whatever it was, and he looked great. Anderson too, Drew Anderson gave up 4 runs, 3 of them earned, but he got a couple of tough calls. Didn't pitch that badly in his 2 1/3. But all in all, kind of a rotten day the rest of the day, but 9-2 loss. But, you're right, the headlines tomorrow, and talk about the beat writers, the headlines in the papers will be Kopech has 1 solid inning, and that's all that matters here today. So let's leave it on a positive note and come back.